This is No BS with Bill Schmidt.
Give me some milk.
And Armen Saryan.
Hold on. Am I middle-aged?
You're 40, brother.
Join the show now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. 1-877-794-1973.
Wait a minute. These guys are cool, but not that cool.
No BS is presented by Screamin' Sicilian Premium Craft Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about. Now, Billy and Armen on the game.
No BS on the game fires up here on this beautiful football Friday across the state of Wisconsin. It's Bear Week, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe one of the most important matchups in that rivalry. 2-1-2 tomorrow night at Soldier Field, and control of the NFC North on the line. Heads exploding all across the country while they watched last night. Seemingly Puka Nacua in unstoppable force, meeting the immovable object that is the ridiculousness of Lumen Field. The artist formerly known as CenturyLink Field.
And Quest.
And Quest Field.
Right.
And in all reality, as I'm watching last night, as my main man Armen Saryan over there in the beautiful Cutter and Buck Packers quarter zip.
It is Cutter and Buck, actually.
Damn right it is.
Did you know? I mean, I know it's a
Damn right
joke like Antigua or Cutter. It is Cutter and Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this
You
one.
can tell by the fit. You can tell by how smooth it makes you look and how slimming it is here on this beautiful football Friday. Is ready to dunk all over. Vince Carter-esque with an elbow through the rim. Or Bears fans here today in preparation for the battle that happens some 37 hours away at Soldier Field, in which we messed up the math all day long yesterday. Now it's some 37 hours away from kickoff at Soldier Field. We get to think and fantasize and wonder. Armen, with that game last night that you witnessed,
oh my goodness,
of the
what
LA
an
Rams
appetizer.
and the Seattle Seahawks playing the game of the year,
What an
and
appetizer.
Seattle pulling out potentially the stupidest victory of all time, involving maybe the craziest reversal I've seen in a long time. And if there was ever a statement to be had of what are we doing with this replay thing, Terry McCauley? What are we doing with this ref in the booth? Letting everybody know the deepest, darkest secrets. Dude, it looked like when Puka Nacua caught a no-look pass to go up 30-14 in the fourth quarter.
No look.
And Matthew Stafford was flexing and yelling, letting everybody know that he would like to be at NFL Honors the night before the Super Bowl, accepting his first and maybe one of the most meaningful, impactful MVP awards of all time.
He thought that was the clincher. He thought that was the clinching touchdown for the MVP, I think.
But he did not know. He did not know the artist formerly known as Quest. That damn stadium. In only that ballpark last night does the victory get snatched from the jaws of defeat. And how on earth did Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks win that damn game in overtime last night? Armen, I'm convinced the Zach Charbonnet 2-point conversion attempt, the Rashid Shaheed punt return touchdown to start it all off.
Talk about that.
Felt like maybe the quietest game-changing, maybe season-changing play of all time, partially because of Al Michaels. And then all of a sudden, you're sitting here saying, we might have a different one seed in the NFC.
What the hell's going on?
Control
Absolutely.
of that one seed flips around in the craziest way, 38-37 in overtime. All of it football nirvana last night in Seattle.
And a guy that never catches a ball catches the winning 2-pointer and is carried off the field.
He's on IR until last week.
He's William Wallace in Braveheart. Like
Unreal.
it's crazy. You know, and I love the National Basketball Association. You know this. You love the NBA. You watch a lot of games. I'd venture to say you probably watch more regular season NBA than 99% of people.
Men should probably.
Walking down the street. It's a great league. It's a great game. I love MLB. I love NHL. I love all sports. You know, I love college basketball. But last night's a great example why nothing compares to the NFL. Regular season, drama-wise. I just had a discussion with my buddy about the NBA is fun, but a lot of people don't watch it. I'm like, I agree with you, but like regular season stuff does it not compare to the epic 3-act battle that we saw last night in the NFL. What a way to wet your whistle for this NFL week. Probably one of the crazy. You probably saw one of the wildest 2-point conversions ever in terms of the backward pass. You saw one of the most important 2-point conversions. Al and Kirk were calling it the biggest 2-point conversion in the history of football. Now, I don't know, or something like that.
They started to get very excited.
I don't know if that's true, but listen, it was one play for one of the most important wins of the year for these two teams. Yes. I get why. I totally get why. How would you feel if you're a Rams team today? They rolled up 581 yards of offense and lost, Billy. I don't know how you can do that. Billy, how many teams have rolled up that many offensive yards in a game in the history of the National Football League? Am I right? 581? I think I'm right.
It's a crazy number.
I think I'm right.
Oh, I believe you're spot on.
All right.
They also were the first team. I saw the stats, and I don't want to butcher it because I don't have it in front of me, to have 400 plus yards, no turnovers.
Oh my God.
No sacks allowed. Take the ball away 3 times and lose the football game.
They played nearly a flawless game offensively.
There was something like 79-0 before that result last night to make it the 79-1.
This game is crazy. This league is crazy. The only thing you could really say about them, besides like you're supposed to score every possession, like, okay, obviously, yeah, this is a video game. No, it's not really. The only thing you can really say is they took field goals early in the game instead of going for it on fourth.
Sure.
But I can't sit here and blame them. And Matt Stafford was awesome last night. Darnold had to survive some pretty bad picks last night.
Big time.
I think that's the difference between him this year and a lot of other teams, is he's been able to survive games when he's had bad interceptions and still won those games. So that's not easy to do in today's day and age. The Rams, after that second Darnold pick, had a 98.8 win probability. Billy, that's percentage. Now, if I put 98.8, now that's just not 98 out of 100. That's 98.8. So it's like 988 out of 1,000.
That's like I maybe got one question wrong on that 78 question test.
So if I spend 2 hours after the show today, which, sometimes I do this
very much
stuff,
actually do.
If I put 1,000 pieces of paper into a hat and 988 of them said Rams and the other, whatever it was said,
tough math.
Yeah, I know, right? What am I doing here? The other 12, right? Am I wrong on this? 12. Yeah. The other 12 said Seahawks. the Seahawks one would have come up. They would have won. So I don't really know what else you can say about it, except that was one of the most incredible games and finishes of the season. You had everything you could possibly want. And all of a sudden, the Seattle Seahawks are 12-3.
The Seattle Seahawks.
Like, who would have thought it?
With Sam Darnold.
Oh, my gosh.
Are 12-3. And for the second consecutive year, Sam Darnold, late into the year, has an inside track to the 1 seed as a starting quarterback.
Crazy. And this is not to say Sam Darnold totally surprised us, because like last year, he had the good year. Last year, he surprised us. Well, all of us except you. He surprised us, right, last year. This year, he, didn't shock anybody because he had a really good year last year. It's like the question was, could he repeat that? But he's doing it again, albeit with some flaws. Like, he didn't play a flawless game.
Amen to that.
But he found a way to get it done. And credit to the Seahawks for taking the bold steps when they had to. It would be pretty, I guess, I don't know. In that situation, you're both 11-3. You're fighting for the 1 seed, the NFC West. You're not kicking the extra point to tie it there, right? I mean,
well, and it was an interesting point by Kirk at one point, though, because he did say because of the loss earlier in the year that it felt like they for sure were going to go for it.
It made a good no-brainer.
Now,
almost.
if indeed the Seahawks would have won the game in the earlier matchup, in the previous matchup, would they have not? Because you tie the ball game, you have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
It might change the equation. And if the shoe was on the other foot, now I don't necessarily know that Sean McVay would have not wanted to go for it, because as we saw a couple of times last night, he was wishy-washy with it, right? Like I think he's one of the best head coaches that I've watched operate because of the way that he clearly is thinking of the analytics of the game. But my man is super into how the flow of the game is playing. And if one little thing changes, you can tell that there is a lot of gut feel mixed in with all the information possible. And I think that's where the best head coaches are. And I think, actually, to bring it to Matt LaFleur, I think Matt LaFleur is getting better at it. Like, I think Matt LaFleur is in that way that McVay has found. He connects to the guys on that sideline in a very, very different fashion than many coaches, it seems like, in football. But understanding the emotion of the game and how the flow of the game, what is the most important at that specific time. I thought that was a couple of times earlier in the game, Armen, where you just wanted to get points. I don't know how many more times this cat's going to turn the ball over. I might as well just keep stacking up possessions.
Sure. And I can't blame him.
And I'm not blaming him in that spot.
Yeah.
Now, hindsight 2020, sure, make one of those 4th and 1s a touchdown and the game's a different story.
But you know what? They shouldn't have been in that position anyway. I mean, you're up 30-16 with the ball in the 4th quarter. That's hard for me to sit there and blame you for taking field goals in the first.
And that, you know what I mean? Absolutely. And the only thing that I would look at, and that I think coaches might at some particular point in time, we always joke about it that, like, well, if you just did this on Madden, we'd figure out exactly how you win this game.
Of course.
When you go up 30 to 14 and it's a 16-point game, if there's one thing that you lie awake wondering, is it if you go for 2 there?
Mm-hmm.
Because sure, you now made them have one of the most ridiculous 4th down 2-point conversions we've ever seen, in which the kicking teams are on the field and somebody radios down to Brad Allen and says, somebody press the Buffalo Wild Wings button.
I'm going to press the Buffalo Wild Wings button. That's right.
We need to get overtime. This game is way too good. That ball totally goes backwards. If you saw that in real time,
nobody thought it.
Stand up.
Yeah.
And give yourself a round of applause.
Give
yourself a round of applause because you have an elite ball mind. There is no shot that I was looking at that until all of a sudden Terry McAuliffe goes, fellas, that's a good 2-point conversion.
And neither did 22 NFL players. Like
22
professional NFL players that do this for a living. Nobody thought that. The smartest guys. Nobody. The guy picked it up, but just out of instinct.
Yeah. Like, you remember a Jared Boykin?
That's it. That's the one. That was the Randall Cobb game.
It's a Jared Boykin-esque touchdown.
I swear I was just going to say that. That was the Jared Boykin touchdown,
when he grabs the ball and everybody on the sideline is screaming, go.
Like Aaron figured it out, but it took him a few seconds.
Because he's looking at the sideline, and the whole sideline is losing their mind. And I would love to know. I will admit, as soon as that 2-point conversion was clinched last night, we had to turn that bad boy off. Boy was hurting. It was late night.
Oh my
gosh.
I
didn't stay awake for as much of Misery Loves Company Rams postgame as I usually would have.
No, it was late night.
I sure hope Zach Charbonnet took the biggest of victory laps. Well, that's why we have coaches tell us all of the strategic moments and the biggest moments of the game, and we analyze all these. Or if by dumb luck, he's just standing in the end zone when he scoops the ball to throw it to the official, which is the clear and obvious recovery, 2 points. And Sean McVay lost his mind, rightfully so, in the postgame. The most ridiculous 2-point conversion attempt I've ever seen in my entire life.
But is that just he lost his mind because it was bad luck? Because it was a correct call, in my opinion.
Oh, it's the correct call.
Eddie and Styles disagrees, man of the mill. He said that was BS. I don't think it was. I think it was the correct call. I just think it's terrible luck.
I just think it's garbage that nobody on the field is calling for.
Yeah, I agree with
you
there.
Now, like, if this is brought up by Mike McDonald, Armen, then I'm with you. Then it's fair game. But if this is somebody at Park Avenue saying,
call down.
Excuse me. Make sure Allen knows that ball was on a trajectory of going backwards by a 0.46 point. Like that, I don't like, and that I have a problem with. But if somebody on the field and the Seahawks is like, hey, that ball's clearly going backwards.
Right.
We dial this play up. That's what it's drawn up to be. We actually might be throwing a double pass over here. You just didn't know because the ball got knocked away. Then I'm okay. But I will say, if I'm on the Ram side, maybe that's tick for tack on the pass interference.
Yeah, it's all
down in New Orleans in the 2018 NFC title game, because that is some BS.
And let me ask you something. You say it's BS, but then they get it right.
No, the call is correct.
But isn't that their job now upstairs? Like, that's what they do now. Every play is reviewed upstairs. I mean, I know it seems like, well, no one challenged it, but that's the job now that we've instituted in the National Football League of guys calling down.
Not to the language.
Okay.
Not to the language. Well, Armen, any scoring play is reviewed.
But no one
scored.
That's true. Yes. But isn't it new now that you can get calls from upstairs?
No.
That's been happening.
Video assist can happen in the spotting of the football or change of possession.
Okay, so I guess this would not be letter of the law then.
It's by letter. This is again, they can come out and say, well,
They
know
can
what?
make up their own stuff.
We just make this up.
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean,
we're the NFL. You guys gonna stop watching?
Right, they've done that.
They stop watching. Do we get it right? No, and that's the thing. They can have They can have that escape route of, well, look, the ball's clearly going backwards.
But it wasn't.
It is correct.
Reviewable. Oh,
but in the letter of the rule book, it should not have been reviewed unless challenged by the Seahawks, which it was not.
Well, don't worry. We'll get.
But congratulations to them. It works out.
I'm sure we'll get a pool report.
They had to have done one. They had to have done one. But only in that stadium are you getting something like that.
No, maybe that's true. I mean, that is the 12th man. Although I heard a lot of these. I heard a lot of. What was going on with the 12th man last night? I heard a lot of constantly booing their team for the play calls, for this and that. Like, support your team. What are we doing out here? I thought you're 12th man. You're booing your team. It's the third quarter. This game's not over. I know, whatever. Crowds boo. That's just part
You're
of
not
it.
lying,
You
though.
know how I feel about that,
I was
though.
kind of caught off guard.
Stop booing. Like, what are you doing? Like, support your team. You know how I feel about that, though. That's just an Armen thing.
That just shows victory from the jaws of defeat, right
I
there.
guess.
Holy cow.
Your team literally is 11-3 and one of the toughest. I don't say toughest, but one of the most competitive NFCs in a long time. And Sam freaking Darnold's your quarterback, so don't be booing your team that much. Now, no disrespect to Mr. Darnold, though. I guess I did by accident disrespect him there. But my point was to say, like, hey, it's not been that bad for your team so far this year. All right, it's not been that bad.
It does add in some even more disappointment from last week because if indeed the Packers were able to hold on to that 9-point lead out in Denver, 23-14 lead.
They'd be your number one seed, right?
An inside track to win out. And I
track.
believe you would have been the number one seed.
Well, it just shows you how quick things change.
And
in this year.
I did do the gymnastics to put the Packers in the solo bye.
Let's go.
On the NFC side.
Let's go.
We'll share that for you as we continue. We'll share for you the hottest 3 keys to Packers victory coming up tomorrow night.
Oh, I love that.
Because that's what we have to be able to do. Unlock a victory at Soldier Field. And also, if the deed to ownership of the Chicago Bears is actually up for grabs coming up this weekend. Because some people were asking online, and it feels to be the hottest of conversations between the fan base. They just know we're coming. They just know that they've dominated this for a long time, and tides are changing. So is that actually up for grabs coming up tomorrow night? Not only control of the NFC. Discuss it all with you at 877-794-1973. One of the biggest Packers-Bears games in recent memory takes place at Soldier Field. And we're talking about it. That's Armen. I'm Billy. It's No BS. Scott Dolphin joins us next right here on The Game.
Sitting passenger in my rag and Paula. Yeah, I let her know that she looks beautiful to me. The world's an ugly place, but she is such a sight to see.
The top spot in the NFC North is on the line once again. This time it's in the Windy City as the Packers go on the road to face the Bears.
It's a chess match. That's kind of how it is when these games is this close. And it also comes down to the players, man, who wanted more. So we're going to see who wanted more. I think the biggest thing for us as offense is just doing it more consistently. Stops having so many, splash plays here and there. Have a week where, we almost go perfect in the red zone, and then a week like last week where we didn't convert as much as we wanted to in the red zone. I think it's just about being more consistent as offense and, our playmakers showing up every week.
Billy and Armen are previewing every angle of the rivalry all morning on The Game. Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released, Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album, Born to Run. The album charts at number 5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to number 18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl. But you used to be mine.
In July of 78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit number 1. In August of 78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to number 1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up. iHeartRadio. Here are the top Foreigner songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Hot Blooded.
I show you loving like you never knew. That's why I'm hot-blooded. Check it and see. Feel the fever burning inside of me. Come on, baby, do you do more than dance?
Number 2, I Want to Know What Love Is.
Change this lonely life. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
Number 1, Cold as Ice.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
Hear more from Foreigner and similar artists now. Search for Foreigner on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
September of 77, American duo Steely Dan released their 6th album, Asia. It goes to number 3 in the States on the strength of 2 top 20 hits, Peg and Deacon Blues. In October, the major label debut album by Meatloaf is released, hits number 14 in the U.S., and goes on to be one of the best-selling albums of all time.
I gotta know right now. Before we go any further, do you love me? Will you love me forever?
Leonard Skinner released the album Street Survivor. 3 days later, singer Ronnie Van Zant and 2 other band members are killed in a plane crash. The album goes to number 5 in the States, and the single What's Your Name hits number 13.
What's your name, little girl? What's your name?
In November, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand is released. It goes to number 2, driven by 3 hit singles, Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, and Lay Down Sally.
Lay down, Sally, and rest you in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record. But it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
No BS on the game, and not BSing you. It feels real early this morning because I think a lot of folks were staying up late watching football Nirvana on the West Coast last night. 38-37, the Seahawks come out and somehow prevail with a victory and control of the number 1 overall seed in the NFC as they upset the Los Angeles Rams last night. Point spread, technically not an upset. They lost earlier in the year. It was up for grabs all day long. And Scott Dolphin, you've been doing these mornings for quite some time. Do they always feel this early after a game like that where it's the last thing I can do is somehow fall asleep during that?
Oh, yeah, they do. For me, goodness. They always feel this early. It doesn't matter if I go to bed at 7:30.
It's fair.
It's just you learn how to live feeling lousy when you get out of bed between 3 and 4 a.m. It's just the way it is. But that game was almost like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah,
that had
that's
been
the
put
thing.
together. I mean, they went for 3 2-point conversions.
It was basically a 3-act play when you start thinking about it. I don't mean to get but that's exactly what it was. It was an epic. It was a Hollywood movie. That's exactly what it was.
And then to have the the ball land in the everybody thinks it's a incomplete pass. Dude picks it up. Unbelievable.
And I stand by it in the opening segment. I said that only happens in that stadium. Now there are some scars in that stadium.
Way to stand by that.
Yeah. I'm firmly saying it only happens in that ballpark.
That is
that
like
something like that is going down.
It does feel like a house of horrors, obviously, for Packer fans.
Armen will remember this. Who was the referee in the replacement ref that made the bad call.
Oh, the guy's name. I don't remember.
Some ridiculous science teacher that should have never been on the field.
He wrote a book. I forgot. I totally forgot his name. I tried to block that memory out of my mind. I'm pretty sure that was the only dagger
Did you buy
call
the book?
that Wayne got. That Wayne didn't get. No, I didn't buy this. I didn't buy that jerk's book. I'm not giving that cat money. Are you kidding me for ruining my life?
Was that the second
ruining my
worst
season? I didn't. I'm just exaggerating. I know it's a game only. Yeah,
second worst moment in Packers in Seattle history.
Yeah, I mean that was the second.
That would definitely be the second. Now, I mean, if you wanted to slice up the NFC title game in 24 and 14, we could give you like 15 of them the worst moments
well, bro.
that happened in that. And the recanting of that moment, that is one where like as time kind of stands still, people will remember for a long time exactly how the events played out. And I imagine everybody in the stadium last night will be the same way if you're a Seahawks.
Those would be Seahawks top 5, probably with last night's game. Those two Packer games, and then maybe Skittles rumbling.
Yes,
for that touchdown in the playoffs to beat.
Yeah, but that was an amazing football play, at least. You know what I mean? It wasn't like some craziness. Yeah, they made great plays last night, but that was an amazing run. But man, only in that field, Billy. You say it mostly, and it's true. We just have those scars that we have from that stadium.
Are you saying you don't want the Packers to go to Seattle in the playoffs this year?
I'd much prefer to not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that I'd prefer to not go.
Yeah, but what's a better spot? I mean, obviously Carolina,
Chicago.
Los Angeles. Yeah,
You'd rather go to Chicago against play a team that you've beaten many times over the past.
And
I guess so,
undefeated in the playoffs in Soldier Field.
That's true.
So I mean, there's no reason to think that wouldn't happen, and for it to happen again twice in the same sporting season year, for you to beat the Chicago team in the postseason. Yeah, you can't make that kind of stuff up.
That would be incredible.
That's a good point.
For Packers
Yeah,
fans, not so much for us Bears fans.
Well, listen, that would happen. Collateral damage is a tough part of this deal.
I don't care about Bears fans. I hope it's terrible for Bears fans.
It's a good couple of days to have Armen on the other side of the glass. Because not that anything would happen, but everybody's going to be a little cantankerous 37 hours away from kickoff. Dolph, now how are we going to consume this game? Because you talked about it the last couple of weeks that generally would go out, enjoy it, went and saw one at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Carl Brooks.
Yeah.
Just a hairline fingernails away from a celebration for you at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. So how will we take it in this week?
So I am. How do I put this? This was a decision that was made long before this game.
You can
time
do
was
it.
announced. It's our Dolphin family Christmas on Saturday.
Come on.
And I was talking to some other people that are having their holiday celebrations with their family on Saturday as well.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be on. I've negotiated with the wife. It will be on. We're going to be watching. We're going to do a lot of the festivities, the games and little gift giving beforehand.
Good call.
And then we'll watch the game. But again, house full of people. There's going to be distractions. You're going to be in conversation. Not my favorite way to watch Packers Bears.
No, it's just the way it is, though. It's the way it's got to be this time of year. I mean, we had our situation, same thing. Marquette Purdue was on. Laura and I were, my parents' house, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it was. It's just the way it goes. Sometimes
that was probably better for you.
Well, listen, there wasn't much for me to watch in that game.
I was going to say that was better for you because you had a little bit of a distraction. This one feels like it's going to be a great game.
Armen and I say good morning in the kitchen today. And,
I
said, who does Marquette have this weekend? And his first response was, someone they will lose to.
Well, I'm sorry. You have to make.
It's December 19th. You're broken like that already.
You have to make jokes to keep from crying. You have to that's all it is.
That is true. If you don't laugh, it is just sad.
I saw data. Marquette is the worst team in D1 from spot up threes, or one of the worst, or something like that. I think I sent it to you, Billy. I don't know, man. It really is. It's just a bummer. But listen, there's only one. They're gonna turn it around at some point.
They get to go to Creighton.
Yeah, well,
and you totally get to watch that game. Opposite.
Good place to start. Good place to start the turnaround, I guess.
Is that this weekend? That's the game this weekend.
I don't know exactly.
Saturday night.
They've got next Saturday night. Okay, Saturday. I didn't know for sure if it was Saturday because Saturday night I'm busy. So
Creighton's struggling as well. Right?
They are, and so was Georgetown. That's why I had hope.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, it's just the way it goes sometimes. That's just the way it goes sometimes.
So does it sound like you struggle and you just throw Marquette on the schedule this year and it works out for you a little bit better?
Listen, if we lose to DePaul, you're gonna see a different type of mood out of this boy. All right, I don't want to have that situation.
Yeah, we can't have that because you are down in the dumps, and I don't like you pouting over there because of Marquette basketball.
No, listen, no, and we're not. It's just part of the headlines. That's just part of the process. Marquette lost 2 nights ago,
and everybody makes the tournament in the Big East, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
True.
Fair.
We'll be in New York. We'll be in New York. That's for sure. And they better get that room service that first night. You know what I mean? I never do this to my team, Billy, but we haven't been this bad in a while. Tonight though, Badgers coming to Milwaukee for the now what court are they going to play on? I didn't ask Matt LePay that yesterday, and I don't know that he knows.
We did botch that one.
I have been wondering this since this was announced that Wisconsin and Villanova are playing at Fiserv Forum. What court are they playing on?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
When they were here for that preseason game against Oklahoma, did they play on a Bucks court?
I think it was the Bucks court, but I could be wrong.
It was the Bucks court for that. Now that was like that
was just a preseason.
I was going to say a preseason exhibition.
It wasn't even a preseason. It was exhibition.
This one, since it is Milwaukee Hoops Classic.
The Milwaukee Hoops Classic. Yep. UWM plays first.
So they might have a specialty court. Like, I'm not going to put it above anybody to logo something out and have a cool, sweet logo at center court. I also would wonder if they just leave that Cream City court on.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Because of last night.
Likely,
now, that would be a good decision. Because
I mean,
I will say that is a good-looking floor that they were able to play with yesterday.
And you have 2 Wisconsin teams. I vote for that. Leave Cream City on the floor.
But that's a lot of money to get a whole new floor. I mean, that is a lot of money they're going to spend.
We could be spending that on some NIL
That's
money.
all I'm saying.
Sure.
Right. There
no doubt about it. However, this is to generate some more NIL money and bring some in. What do you think of these home/semi-home deals, Dolph? Because it does feel like a great way to bring the whole state together for a team.
I really like it. Growing up in Iowa does it every year. They go to Des Moines.
Yeah.
In fact, it's next week. I think they play Bucknell or somebody. They play a game in Des Moines every single year. I think it's great. Like you said, it's a way to bring the state together.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin, there are Badgers fans all over the state of Wisconsin, including here in the Milwaukee area. There's a ton of them. So
a lot of alumni around the Milwaukee area. A lot of alumni.
Why stop at Fiserv Forum? Why not play it?
Like, do the Geezer Palooza tour, Billy.
Do the Geezer Palooza tour and bounce all the way around. Somebody get up to the Resch.
The Resch Center, right? You could play where the Herd play in Oshkosh.
Yeah,
right?
Oshkosh,
That's not as big of an
Menominee Valley Arena.
Where did the lacrosse Bobcats of the CBA used to play?
They have a downtown arena, I believe, in lacrosse.
Okay, so there's one.
Duluth Superior. They've got like a dome up there. You have to be on the Minnesota side,
I believe they repaired the Hodag Dome up in Rhinelander that they'd be able to fill that place up for a little bit.
Are there only ice down on these domes? I mean, are those hockey arenas?
No, we got turf at the Hodag Dome. We got turf at the Hodag Dome.
Basketball
now you might be
court's
able to
easy
floor
to
that
put
thing
down.
up in Eagle River because they do have the Ice Hockey Hall of Fame there. Wisconsin Ice Hockey Hall of Fame.
I was not aware of that.
Mm-hmm. It's a sweet spot. Ask Luddy about it. He'll tell you.
Yeah, I've never been to Eagle River, but a lot of friends I grew up with go snowmobiling up
Luddy loves it up there. Yeah, he loves it. Now, I still do think it's interesting. But you're right. There's a lot of alumni here. The Badgers are playing in Milwaukee. Like, it'd be pretty funny if Marquette played at Madison. That would never happen. You know?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No.
Right?
I think
it would never happen, right?
It might happen more where they go and play at like the United Center,
which they did this year.
Yeah.
So
damn,
didn't go well. That was a tough one.
Didn't go well.
But Indiana should be better.
Somebody that they will lose to. Now, at least one of your favorite teams will make you a lot.
I love my team.
Sounds like it.
Let me just stop.
Sounds like
I can be morbid about the jokes, but you guys know I love my team.
It sounds like
I ride and die with Marquette University's basketball team, but they struggled this year.
It's just a one-off, Armen. Know, in today's culture in college basketball, by next year they can be right towards the top.
Well, can they? I mean, Shaka doesn't do it.
They can.
Stuff,
they can.
Right?
And my team, the University of Iowa, is living proof of that now. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. Last year they lost every player after Fran McCaffrey got fired. Everybody bolted except one kid who was a red shirt.
Right.
He's back. And so it's a whole new team. It's 14 new guys, and their only 2 losses are at top 7 ranked teams this year.
Come on now.
But they probably embrace portal more than Shaka is my only point. All right, Billy was going to get on something
I think you definitely could. Shaka could flip this whole thing around coming up next year. Get into the portal, bring a bunch of players in. You guys got a bunch of money. Armen Sarian's going to start donating to the NIL fund.
A bunch of money.
What's the ale? What's the beer that Marquette sells for the nil? Do they do one like the Badgers?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I forget the name of it.
I need to pick some up.
Golden Ale. I forget what it is now.
I'll pick some.
That's a Badgers. I know, but they also had like
try to get.
I got a picture somewhere with Butch holding it though.
How on earth do you not have that thing dialed in 877-794-1973? That might be the reason why. Now, also stayed up late. I imagine that's on the top of the headlines, Dolph. Last night, the Badgers women's volleyball team against the Wildcats. Damn. Now you want to talk about a tough loss to be able to see. Those girls battled.
Brutal tough.
5 sets, right?
Man.
Holy cow.
What a
And then
heartbreaker.
extra point into the 4th set. I thought they were going to come back and win that 4th set, where I think they faced like 3 or 4 different match points. It was a hell of a game to watch last
And throughout the year, you knew they were good. They're always good. But you didn't know they were going to be good enough to maybe have a shot at a national championship just because, like we talked about with Marquette, every once in a while, you're not quite as great as you were like in 2021 when they won the national championship. But they've gone to the Final Four every year except once in that run, like in the last 5 years, 4 of the last 5, some incredible stat like that.
And when you lose in 5 sets, you're just as good.
Yeah,
I mean,
to the top seed.
It's not like you're talking about small moments and important points going one way or the other in a game that's so fast paced that obviously, 1 millimeter of an angle of a hit can go one way and things like that. You really have to play with your principle, play with your instinct, and just hope the ball bounces your way in a lot of ways.
I don't watch a lot, but it's incredible to watch when I watch. I'm locked in. It's like, oh my God.
And I thought Kelly coached a great game last night. The thing is, you there's a lot more strategy. I mean, it's like if you don't watch hockey a lot or you don't watch volleyball, it looks very random, but there's a lot of strategy involved. And he was putting his girls in positions to make defensive plays and have good points. It's just, when you go down to the 5th set, it's like an overtime game. I mean, it's coming down to the wire. So.
Did you play volleyball
in high school?
Greenfield High School?
Yeah, in high school. Yeah.
We didn't have a team at my high school.
Well, a lot of boys.
We were co-opted at our school.
Yeah, a lot of boys didn't. And then now Whitnell and Greenfield are combined, Billy. Yeah, by the time I went there. But back then it was just Greenfield. We didn't do the whole Whitnell.
Well, you guys were good enough. You guys didn't need anybody else.
Now, the nice thing about it is I spent a lot of time on the bench, so I got a lot of time to watch.
Yeah,
to learn those strategies.
To learn the game. I learned the game really well.
Were you the cat that wore the different colored jersey?
No, they didn't have libero yet and not in the WIA. They instituted that a couple years after I was done. But that would have been my position probably.
Because you look like a libero.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a compliment? I'm the shortest guy. Yeah, I'm the shortest guy.
It looks like somebody that's ready to go get some dicks.
Let's go. All right, we're ready to go get after it, right?
Get on the floor, get scrappy. If the only thing that I could say that I was a little frustrated about, and I know that this is probably real volleyball fans are going to be very upset about. Come on, we're playing 25. We got to finish that 5th set all the way out. That's got to be a 25-point set. If we're going to roll this thing
not at 15.
Not at 15.
They look at it like overtime, Billy, in basketball, where it's not a full quarter. But I get your point. I understand what you're saying. Why not play it out to 25? If we've already done this for 4 sets and it's the last set, why are we coin flipping it?
Now we go to 25. Because I'm with you on the overtime deal, kind of like sudden death.
It's the same deal.
But the rule. Then you can't call it a best of 5.
Yeah, like
then
the
it's
NHL.
not a best of 5. We're not going to go all the way.
I hear you.
Right. Yeah. NHL does it in playoff hockey, right? They change the rules.
And I will say that is a very much loser's lament. I was watching it, and all of a sudden it's like 13-9 I'm listening to the commentary. They're like, we got 2 away. I'm like, what? The hell are these guys talking about? These guys don't know ball? These guys don't know ball? What are we doing? All of a sudden the match point came up. I was pissed.
Good sports night, despite the loss for the Badger women. And tonight you get college football playoff action, fellas.
Let's go, baby.
Enjoy it tonight. Enjoy it tonight because tomorrow's won't be fun.
Yeah. Alabama, Oklahoma, right?
Alabama, Oklahoma is going to be a phenomenal game. Look at you.
Do you think that's a good bet? I'm not really sure. I just picked it.
I actually don't know that either teams can score.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So tomorrow, are any of the games going to be close?
The morning game is going to be phenomenal.
Okay.
I think Miami and Texas A&M's got a chance to be a doozy of a game. And if you want to watch a beautiful scene early on during the game day footage, those folks at Kyle Field will be having some fun there.
That is a tradition. That would be a bucket list place to go to watch a college football game.
Better question, would you be there the night before for the midnight yell?
Oh, yeah, you have to.
I was going to say, Dolph, if we're going to go down there at Kyle Field, we need to be there for the midnight yell.
Yeah, there's certain things in college football. It's so steeped in tradition in Texas A&M since way back when.
Have you gotten to any SEC games?
I have never been to an SEC stadium that I know of. I don't think so. Well, I've been to Vanderbilt Stadium, but does that count?
Yeah.
In
Nashville?
I mean, it technically counts.
No, but I haven't been to,
I went to Northwestern basketball games, does that count? Like, is it Big Ten? I mean, it is.
Kind of.
Well, it is, but the arena is so small. I know what you mean. Or like Kyle, if you go to the old Ryan Field in Northwestern was like Big Ten,
Yeah, Northwestern's gotten better.
Ever.
They've refurbed Welsh Ryan Arena.
Yeah, they did expand a little bit. Yeah,
but SEC, I haven't seen any football games in SEC country.
Listening to Matt, Mark, and Mike after the trip to Alabama this year, just said it was one of the sweetest atmospheres for anybody that loves the sport. You got to be able to walk through some of them. I think the scene at Oxford is going to be pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
They face Tulane. I think they're going to beat the brakes off of the Green Wave. But it's going to be sweet to be able to see these home games. I just love that part of it.
I'd love to go to Ole Miss, Mississippi State too, with the cowbell tradition. I mean, all of those places.
I think Tennessee would be crazy to go to.
Yeah.
You went, I thought, to a game, Billy, once. No,
I was supposed to go twice. I was supposed to go see. I was supposed to go see Tennessee Vanderbilt in Nashville. I had mono, so I had to leave the trip early.
I remember that story. Yeah.
After driving down with the buddies for 9 hours in a car with mono,
Yeah.
and it probably wasn't.
That's probably not the best.
Probably not the best idea.
And you went to Talladega, didn't you, or something like that? Didn't you go to?
I was planning to go to Tennessee, Alabama, watch the Tua Tide roll through the Volunteers. But then Game 7 of the NLCS happened in 2018.
That's important.
Okay. So I was doing the post-game show. I had my bags packed in the car. I was driving to Knoxville right after Game 6 if the Brewers would have lost. Instead, those sons of guns decided to lose the next night.
Knoxville looks incredible. We were in Athens for about 3 days for a country music event, and I was thinking, really, you couldn't have scheduled this in the fall, so we could have seen some dog football. Instead, it was in late summer. We just missed it.
Can I mention, guys? We went really quick motorsports. Rest in peace. Dobler had a Greg Biffle.
Dude.
Oh my God! What a tragic story this is. Not only him, but his family.
Just an absolutely tragic story. He was a 3-time winner at the Milwaukee Mile, truck and Busch Series champion. Rest in peace.
Named one of the top 75 NASCAR drivers of all time,
So
dying in
sad.
a plane crash in North Carolina.
So sad when I saw that.
He also became an incredible philanthropist.
I heard about that. I read about that.
Videos of him flying in like necessary materials to people stranded. Just an incredible story. in North Carolina.
Admittedly, I didn't know a lot about that until I started reading yesterday about him. So that part was, just incredibly sad.
It's one of the worst stories to be able to hear, but absolutely a life to honor for Greg Biffle. And incredibly sad. What will be very exciting is to be able to witness whatever happens coming up on Saturday night. In Bears Packers.
Hey, it's going to be a great game. I think it just like it was in Lambeau. As a Bears fan, I'm always the internal pessimist when these two teams get together. But
we want to hope that you stay that way, but a
weeks
loss
ago,
might change.
I thought for sure they're going to win it. I had a lot of confidence. Now it doesn't help that two of our top 3 guys are out at wideout. That's kind of a blow. Luther Burden has really become something.
He's been
special.
a very, very good player, and I think Roma Dunze is one of the better ones in ball.
That's your top
so
guy.
you're hosting though.
Yes.
Grab that chair early. Grab that
I
chair
will.
early and let everyone know you don't want any problem when Scott comes back.
Yeah, if not, I'm upstairs in the bedroom watching it in silence, being angry by myself.
Watching in silence and hate watching it. There's Scott Dolphin hanging out with. Appreciate it, brother.
Have a good weekend, boys.
We'll see you on Monday. There's Scott Dolphin hanging out with us here on The Game. He's from FM 106.1. I just beat him on Game Time yesterday on
That's
FM 106.1.
Amazing work.
I had to wait till he stepped away from the microphone to be able to let you know that, Armin, that I did get a victory. All I needed was for you to not be there. And then I could finally get a dub.
Yeah.
I appreciate being able to do that.
Yeah.
Scott Dolphin of FM 106.1. We're up here on 1070 The Game. The Score, Appleton, Oshkosh. Thanks for hanging out with us and waking up with us. We are warming throughout the weekend. We will be warming through the holiday week next week. We're going to be warming up the Packers and Bears conversation, heating it up on the other side. It's No BS on The Game.
Let me see you do it in the bed of my truck. You sure know how to shake it all right. Let me see you do it in the Tennessee moonlight. Whoa, baby, let's go down a little road nobody else knows. Just me and you parked on the edge of the...
Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS will be back in just a moment. Packers, Bears, round 2, tomorrow night.
I think it's the same for both teams. You're always trying to find ways to scheme people up, but ultimately we got to go out there and just make sure we do the routine things correctly over and over again, which is hard when you're playing good people. You got really good coaches and really good personnel, and that is a challenge.
We all understand the urgency that needs to be put forward. This is for the North, and I feel like everybody in this locker room understands that. So I don't think we're going to have any, trouble getting up for this one.
I think that we got everything that we need. Obviously it didn't work out for us last week, but I think that that's just the name of the game. They were a really good football team. I think we're, ready to go against anybody. I think we got the right guys on both sides of the ball to accomplish what we want to accomplish. You just got to go out there and execute and, out physical and out compete whoever is against us.
We're getting you ready for the matchup all day on The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
Low-budget film Easy Rider captures the public imagination with a soundtrack by Steppenwolf, the Byrds, and the Electric Prunes. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair is held August 15th through 18th on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. 32 of the biggest bands of the day played to a crowd estimated at 500,000. The event is later released as a movie and album. And with the boost from their appearance at Woodstock, San Francisco band Santana hits the top 10 with their debut album, Evil Ways. The festival undoubtedly immortalized Jimi Hendrix and ushered in the era of large rock concerts and arena rock bands. Also in October, Led Zeppelin have their only U.S. top 10 hit when Whole Lotta Love reaches number 4.
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, whole lot of love.
The Allman Brothers Band released their debut album on Capricorn Records to good reviews but limited sales. And 7 years after his last number 1, Elvis Presley tops the charts with Suspicious Minds.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with a cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album, Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their ninth studio album, Terrapin Station.
Terrapin in the whistling, screaming, Terrapin.
In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley's found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his fifth album, The Stranger. It goes to number 2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to number 3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
I said we are heating up, and we will heat up the sports conversation and the Packers conversation. Dude, then I strolled outside for my enjoyable sunrise moment and realized that the real field temperature at the moment, Armen Sarian, according to Apple Weather, sits at -7 degrees.
Oh, it's the wind is crazy. And the thing is, if you it
was 50 yesterday.
If you're working outside, I don't envy you today. And the thing is, the last couple of days have been pretty warm, right? Pretty comfortable. But that wind blew in today, and it is whipping around there this morning. And I'm like, is that salt or is that snow that's whipping in front of my windshield today? I couldn't really tell, but it is absolutely frigid out there this morning with the wind. Now, the wind should die down here in about an hour, according to my app, which is
there we go.
Apple. It's like an Android, as you know, Billy. But it's going to be a cold day, no doubt. Now, we'll warm up a little bit tomorrow, get up to 40, but man.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we're getting into a nice little stretch here. It is going to get warmer. It is sub -11 on the real feel in Madison right now. It's just disgustingly cold with these winds. But it is going to get warm. It is going to get pretty nice, actually, into the mid 30s and 40s next week for the holiday week. Now,
it should be nice tomorrow night for the Packers tomorrow night.
It should be a phenomenal night tomorrow night, and weather shouldn't be an issue like it was a couple of weeks ago when they played at Lambeau and the real field was like 10 degrees.
Yeah.
Do you think that impacts how the game is played? Because I do think so. Like, I think in the case of the Packers, for a team that is looking with as many questionable guys as they have out right now, and one team that's going to have to be able to throw the ball, I think, to win. With 2 wide receivers out for Chicago, I think it's a little bit of a neutralizer that it's 10 degrees, I totally think Jordan Love can throw the ball through the cold as well as just about anybody. But it sure is a whole lot easier to be throwing the ball when conditions are going to be like what they are tomorrow night.
Yeah, which is important because that's what the Packers love to do. And I mean, obviously running is part of our game as well, but Jordan Love being able to throw downfield is going to be paramount. Now, I hate to say it, but the Bears are as equipped as anybody in cold weather. I mean, the way they run inside zone, the way they can just get you up the gut on the edges, all these things, the way they can run the ball and control clock, they're as good as any team there is in being able to control clock and control the ball in bad weather. Now, that being said, Caleb Williams isn't the most consistent from the pocket, so maybe in that sense they're not. But if their number one goal usually is to run the ball, and it is, they're equipped. So heavy wind, I would think in some ways helps them, but it won't be windy tomorrow. At least they're not planning on it at all. So I would think this is better for the Packers because if the things you want to do or have to do to win are available to you, they should be in this weather. So it's just a matter of executing at this point. The hard part, the hard part, actually doing it, going out in the field and doing it.
Correct. The hardest part is actually doing it and being able to be as adequate as possible. Now, with some of the guys that are ready to go and the guys that will be available for the Packers, a lot of question marks. Now, Josh Wiley already ruled out with his concussion from a week ago. That one looked bad, and that one did not engender a whole lot of confidence. You really hope that he's okay. But so he's going to be out, as well as Marshawn Lloyd, obviously, with his re-aggravation. Everybody else for the Packers with an injury designation listed as questionable. Love the gamesmanship, and I saw some people saying it. I also think that it's pretty accurate, right? Like, I do believe that it is less of a question about certain guys. Like Christian Watson, I'm pretty confident that he's going to play. Right now, could something flare up and change the situation over the next 36 hours? Absolutely so. That's why you have to list them there. But Chris Brooks could be a question mark. I don't think that a chest injury, it's probably how it reacts that day. Josh Jacobs, he's questionable because he's got a legitimate injury. There's zero question that Josh Jacobs is going to have pads on in a football jersey and a helmet tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you. And
so
it is a short week, and it's only a short week by technicality. It's short by half a day. You know what I mean?
The process is quicker.
Yeah.
The process is quicker, right? Like you had to move everything up a day in terms of your practice schedule. But like Zach Tom not practicing all week.
That's a big one.
That's a 1,000% up in the air.
Yeah.
That will be how he feels once he's able to run around and see if he's able to give it a go with the back and the knee issue. And the Evan Williams injury, again, DNP all 3 days. There's a little bit of estimation in there, but I would be more surprised if Evan Williams is on the field coming up tomorrow night than I would be if he was on.
If you could pick one of those guys that are up in the air, would it be Zach Tom? If you had a choice to take one of those, out of the buffet, I would pick Zach Tom. I think the Packers really struggled to protect up the middle when Zach was out last week, and I could see more of the same this week without him. So I'm hoping Zach can play.
I would generally say Zach Tom, and you're making it very, very difficult on somebody that loves the offensive line.
Loves them.
As much as I do to not say Zach Tom. But the way Evan Williams has played in run support, Armen, I struggled to kind of not say him. He's a massive piece of that secondary.
Good point.
But the Bears injury report, not very favorable as well. Luther Burden out, Roma Dunze out. They got a couple of question marks. Looks like they will be with Pro Bowl linebacker Tremaine Edmonds coming up this week as well. Tremaine Edmonds will be back for the Bears, it appears, coming up tomorrow night. We'll be back on the other side. Hour 2 of No BS fires up. An hour away from Wayne Larrabee joining the program. Stay right here. You got the game.
Father from home, he's no father. He goes home.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
Well, they say all good things come to an end. After taking an early lead in their national semifinal volleyball match against Kentucky, the Badgers lose in 5 sets, ending their season. Kentucky goes on to play Texas A&M Sunday in the national championship match. Badgers basketball tonight in Milwaukee against Villanova. Tip-off is set for 7. The Packers, meanwhile, will head to Chicago later today ahead of tomorrow night's rematch against the Bears. Kickoff tomorrow night at Soldier Field is set for 7:20. And Week 16 in the NFL kicked off with a barn burner in Seattle last night. The Seahawks outlast the Rams in overtime 38-37. Seattle, for now, at 12-3, the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. And from the NBA, the Bucks' struggles continue. They fall to the Raptors 111-105. Bobby Portis with a double-double. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. Micah Parsons is out for the season. We're talking about what's next for the Pack with the best analysis and the best guests.
That's Billy. I'm Aaron. Carry the G Radio. On defense, I am fascinated to see with a team that runs the ball as well and as effectively as the Bears do. And I want tacklers out there. I want hitters out there. And that means maybe it is Javon Bullard across from Xavier McKinney at safety. Because no shade to Zane Anderson, but Bullard needs a little redemption after that game in Denver.
Yes.
Now, we're all about redemption here. Mm-hmm. And I need Bullard to get back in the groove and get back to doing what he was doing for most of this season. He has had a good year, but baby. Denver was a rough one for old Javon Bullard.
That wasn't a fun film study for him, but to your point, I think he's been one of their more underrated players throughout the season.
Totally
and one of their most consistent guys. Like, you kind of know that he's going to be in the right position and do a certain level of job. He might not make the biggest splash play of the game to really change it, but he's been consistent. That's the best thing that you can ask. I do find it interesting, though, for somebody that's been in the building as long as Zane Anderson, if they would trust him more and, keeping everybody else in their own spot.
In their own spots rather than weakening.
Right? You talk about tacklers on the field too, Nags, and how much the Bears want with whether Adunze's able to go. Now, he obviously didn't play in Green Bay. He re-aggravated that injury this past week during warmups. I don't know if he'll be able to go. They might shut him down. DJ Moore actually played football this week, so that probably was beneficial for them. Burden's been good. Like, if indeed they try to beef up a little bit, or if they're going to spread you out and force you to show how many defensive backs can play,
how many are you willing to put out there? How many are you comfortable with?
Your home for the best Packers coverage. The Game.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to reflect on a day in the life of writing and producing the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album in France.
We all stayed at the Shadow in bedrooms, along with my producer, Gus Dudgeon, and Bernie, who wrote the lyrics. And I used to get up, and same time as Bernie, I went down to breakfast. Bernie would be typing, not Bernie Taupin. And he would give me a lyric. And I would have my breakfast, and I would have a croissant, and wander over to the electric piano. We had our instruments set up around the breakfast table, a guitar amp, a bass amp, and a drum kit, and the electric piano, and a mic. And I would sit down and write a song to those lyrics. Hence, then I'd wake the band up, because I'd be playing and singing, and they'd come down and having their breakfast, or even before they started, they would join in, and we would write the song straight away. After we'd finished, we'd go straight over to the other side. Maybe we write two, but mostly one. Start the day off with a song, and go off to the other side of the courtyard to the studio and record the song, and then write in the studio.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Steve Miller Band songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Take the Money and Run.
Bobby Sue, took the money and run. Go on, take the money and run. Go on, take the money and run.
Number 2, Rockin' Me.
I know that it's true that all the things that I do will come back to me in my sweet time. So keep on rocking me, baby. Keep on rocking me, baby.
Number 1, The Joker.
I play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I give my loving on the run.
Hear more from the Steve Miller Band and similar artists now. Search for Steve Miller Band on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
This is No BS with Billy and Armen on Wisconsin's home for the best sports talk and other stuff. The Game.
Step by step, ooh baby, gonna get to you, girl. Step by step.
All right, step by step into hour number 2 of No BS.
It just felt normal. I don't know why. I just felt like, little new kids in the block. Why not? I mean, we're getting closer to the game, one step at a time.
One step at a time into the playoffs, one step away from, or one step closer to being division champions once again. And it's step by step here today because let's be honest, we're hurt. We were up late last night watching an incredible Thursday night game, 38-37. Seahawks somehow win this game. This is from Seahawks PR, Armen.
Great game.
Seattle, they're now 1-0 in their last home. Seattle Seahawks PR. The Seahawks are 1-0 in their last one game when trailing by 15+ points in the fourth quarter.
I love that. I mean, listen, you got to be. Social media for teams has now transformed fully. We've done a full 180 into we're going to be professional. We're representing the team. We're going to make sure everything's legit. And now it's all ironic. Now it's the full Gen Z employers have all come in. Social media for teams has now become a full generation of kids that have grown up doing this.
Damn near trolls
that understand what to do. And this wasn't even like a trolling type thing. It's just ironic and funny
because
it's meant to entertain.
And they do that. They put that caption along with the photo from last night. I believe once Sam Darnold took the field in overtime, where it said the Seattle Seahawks were 0-172 all time.
That's wild.
When trailing by 15+ points in the fourth quarter.
I feel like I've heard a lot of these stats lately too. 1-197. I'm like, man, we're really changing a lot of history here lately. Now that might be just a confirmation bias that I've heard a lot of those lately, but imagine in the national football, in the game of football, where there aren't that many games to have that type of
272 every year.
Doesn't that make it you never came back from 2 touchdowns one time in the fourth?
Well, two touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, right?
Yeah,
15+ points is a pretty impressive number, but it is you're not wrong. It is a staggering stat that is where it rolls to and how long it has been. But it's a fascinating part of it for a team last night in Los Angeles that had everything to win and seemingly had won it all. Right,
that's the thing. They had everything to play for, and they pretty much did. I mean, Stafford didn't make any big mistakes or anything like that.
He doesn't turn the ball over, throws for 400.
That's a
Puka Nacua has one of the
completion.
best games a wide receiver has all year, and they lose the ball game. Now, part of it is, and this is maybe the craziest thing that some people don't necessarily care about for Matthew Stafford, 3 TDs, 457, teams 11-4. He's still probably going to win the MVP.
I don't think last night should have hurt him. I really don't.
If they would have lost in a different fashion, I think it does. But when he throws the touchdown to Nacua to go up 30-14,
right,
and they're running off the field and the celebration rolls through, you could have probably asked him on the sidelines, and if there's a little bit of truth serum, my man, he thinks that he wrapped up not only the 1 seed, the division, and the MVP on that throw.
Especially when they get the pick off Darnold on the next drive. Well, at
the goal line.
Because you're the Seahawks are driving right away. So you're all right, this is far from over. If the Seahawks are driving this quick, they can make it one possession here. But then they get the pick, and you're like, wow, this really could be over.
And Kobe Turner, if anybody has had a better night than Kobe Turner had last night, I'd love to see it. I mean, he was phenomenal last night.
Not only that, all right.
Celebration.
Let's talk about this also with Stafford side. That was great. You like that one? That's a good one.
Beautiful one from the big man.
30-14. All right. Seahawks come all the way back to tied at 30. Even after that, Stafford leads them on a potential game-winning drive with the field goal attempt.
Yeah.
Guy misses the field goal, which Al Michaels thought was good. Actually, I did too.
I
actually thought Al wasn't that bad. As tough as it's been for Al, he tried. I think he emptied his bag last night.
I thought Al Michaels was the best Al Michaels been in a long time.
Al was the best he's been, right? Let's see how you do when you're 80+ broadcasting.
And just had
I'm not looking at you.
I mean, the second half, think about this. He has also just eaten a full steak, no vegetables.
No vegetables, absolutely not. He doesn't mess with
So,
vegetables.
I mean, that's add that in.
All right.
I'm tired too if I'm sitting there.
Yeah, exactly. So, leads him on the field goal drive. All right. Guy misses the field goal, right? Overtime. Leads him on a touchdown. So, this is Stafford scores the touchdown in overtime, still loses the game. He literally did everything he could. It makes you wonder now the reason teams go for it fourth down a lot now, Billy, they want to leave the destiny in their own offense's hands now, right?
Mhm.
That's just the way it is. Our team's going to start going for 2 more to get 3 possession leads. Like the one I'm thinking last night is it's 30-14. I'm like, the Rams might want to stretch this out to try and make it a 3 possession lead and go up 17. You start thinking about those things, which is crazy because you tell yourself, well, what are you doing? I mean, this is a 99%. They're going to win. And most of the time they would. But in a situation like last night, it just makes you wonder. Yeah. And Stafford had a great game last night. I don't think it'll hurt his chances for MVP. But it was pretty remarkable.
Armen, I was thinking the exact same thing. And it is a Madden move. What you just explained there.
But this
29-14. There's 9 minutes to go, 11 minutes to go. To your point, though, on the last drive, Seattle had kind of run down the field. They had moved down the field. They had been moving the ball.
Rams played 3 quarters of defense last night, basically.
And they just continually kept turning the ball over. So, understandably so, you didn't necessarily think you needed to. But in that point, you have a chance to go up 3 scores and put what really would feel like the dagger in them. And instead, you opt not to. That is a total video game move. And just saying, I know that this guy is going to score every single time he touches the ball.
Yeah.
That I'm going to try to make it as wide of a margin as possible. Maybe that's where teams do start leaning towards. And maybe that is the aggressive style that you have to play. But, this throw is just ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Complete no look.
Unbelievable.
And I'm with you. He shouldn't lose it last night, or this shouldn't necessarily impact him. I did believe and still do that the Josh Allen vote should be and probably is a lot closer than we're giving it credit for, just because he's been in the conversation so far. And maybe this isn't the best Josh Allen season and not necessarily better than he was a year ago. But you watch that team and you look at what all he does for that football team, and there's not necessarily a player that is more important. But looking at the year that Matthew Stafford has had, in training, he was almost traded to the New York Giants. He was again almost traded to the New York Giants.
He didn't play preseason. I was the one that said the Rams were going under because he's not playing.
I don't know that he threw a pass during the preseason. I said all of training camp.
I said, I remember sitting here in August saying, is anyone else seeing this?
Was sleeping in some kind of trailer, they said?
I said the Rams are in big trouble. He's not going to be ready to go. And look at him this year. He's minus 225 still this morning at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to win MVP, Billy.
And if you look at a player who has had more to, as a career, gain from winning that award, that means a ton. And some fans don't necessarily think so. But it does in terms of overall player status. He's a surefire lock for the Hall of Fame, potentially first ballot, with a Super Bowl win and an MVP, and upwards of what he'll have, like 55, 60,000 passing yards when this thing is all said and done.
I'd have to agree because, if he wins the MVP this year, probably
he wins an MVP, it puts him over, and he's for sure in. You don't, and they don't go to the Super Bowl. There's a lot of quarterbacks that have won a championship, and then he becomes a massive conversation like Eli Manning.
Then we start the MVP
like Phillip
stuff,
Rivers,
right?
And you start stacking up, and the conversation is over, and there isn't one. What if that award comes through the night before the Super Bowl? That's where, like, if you start looking at it, and again, does it mean everything? No. Does it mean a lot? Absolutely so. And that they wouldn't give the award away, and it wouldn't have the kind of cash in. They definitely wouldn't give it away last if it didn't matter. And for Stafford, this one this year is about as big as it can possibly get. Because then he never has to have the Mark Gastineau moment where he's got to go and look at Josh Allen at a card show at 15 years. You screwed me. I'm going to get my MVP back.
And the thing is, Billy, we talk a lot about, all the nasty work I do about keeping guys out of the Hall of Fame and all the Hall of Fame stuff. We've just debated this a lot. And often the thing is, like, has he ever dominated the league? Matthew Stafford's been a really good player in this league for a long time, but never got close to all pro. Never got all, AP first or second team. I don't think he was comeback player of the year, but he was never like a perennial MVP vote getter. Yeah. I think he finally got votes for the first time 2 years ago. So this would be the year to put him over the top. I agree, because in that sense, he had never been the dominant player in the league. He'd been amongst them, but he's never been the one. Now, I think it's also fair to say it's interesting when you look at it, opposed from like maybe 10 to 15 years ago, The numbers for quarterbacks in general have gone down. The total counting stats have gone down. You had in 2000, I think 11 or 12, you had 10 to 12 quarterbacks throw for over 4,000 yards. Right now, it looks like he might be the only one. So there's going to be some that reach that plateau, but not as many. So in an era where quarterback numbers in general are down, Matthew Stafford's the one guy this year that has the crazy counting stats, right? He's got the crazy numbers. He's got 40 touchdowns. I mean, he's got, he's up to 42 after last night because he went crazy. He's almost up to 4,200 yards. Look, Matthew Stafford is going to win MVP of the league. I don't want to say it's 100% total and done with, but if you're still,
I very much also think he should. I think
he deserves it, and he should win it this year. And I think he's the candidate. I totally get why you say Josh Allen deserves it too, because literally the man is carrying his team on his back every week. So if you want to talk about value and all that stuff, I agree. I also don't think MVP is as much of a narrative award for NFL voters as it is for NBA voters and somewhat baseball voters, right? But if there is some sort of narrative involved, or like it's this guy's turn to win, that does feel like it's Matthew Stafford's time.
Now, this shows how quickly we can forget about certain things in our sports ecosystem. Aaron Judge did win it in the American League, correct?
Yeah, I believe
he
so.
did beat Cal Raleigh for the MVP this year.
Yeah,
that shows that numbers still in that sport way out, right? Because the narrative would have been a catcher hitting 60 home runs.
No, you're right.
And taking the Mariners to the playoffs and winning the division and how they did and coming back. Like that would have been, if it's a narrative award, he wins it. But the numbers, to your point, indicated that there was nobody better. And it frankly wasn't all that close.
Yeah, he had 10 more.
You start looking at the way Stafford has played the position this year. And the certain times in which that he has had to be the best player on the field. This has been one of those years where I have watched him and been like, okay, yeah, he's the best player on the field. And when he goes to Los Angeles, again, one of those times where you don't necessarily love to be wrong. But I said, I will believe this Matthew Stafford changes the league when I see it. And when he stops throwing pick sixes. When, as Jameis Winston once asked at the podium, I'm just praying for God to deliver me from pick sixes. Matthew Stafford in 2021 led the National Football League in pick sixes. I believe he had one in back-to-back, potentially back-to-back games.
Which is bad in this era of this league.
Brutal.
You can't do that anymore. I mean,
but then to be able to win the 3 playoff games they needed to and the Super Bowl in their own building, it's one of those stories that when you are asked, can you tell the story of the NFL without him? It's hard at this point to look at this kind of era of football, these last 5 years, and say, damn, Stafford's not one of the first 4 guys you bring up. Because you're right. In the first 12 years, 11 years of his career, he wasn't one of the top 4 players at the position, really.
But he was right outside that.
He was just outside of it.
Yeah.
Now he's firmly in it. And he's no longer the forgotten best quarterback in the conference. He's like, okay, there's Stafford, and who's going to be able to play to that level? And once you prove it, you can do it. People will give you a little bit more of the respect. But this is the validation of the 2021 Super Bowl for Matthew Stafford that I think somebody needed to be able to
And he's been more consistent and had more longevity than a lot of guys, like a Russell Wilson, for instance. Didn't have to peak and go down. Red Hot Tim, not Stafford, better than Rodgers, just stuck with a trash team for so long. No way, no chance. Sorry. I'm not doing that, and we ain't doing that. Stafford was not better than Rodgers. He's had a really good career. They might be in the same museum, wearing the same type of threads, the same jacket, but he was not. Sorry. And Stafford did have Calvin Johnson. Let's not forget that. I'm not sitting there and saying he's the only reason, but it wasn't like he had a total trash offense. I mean, he did not have good teams. I totally admit that, and if you're going on win-loss record, but Aaron Rodgers did what he did in this league.
And I would say it, Armen, that I think they actually had good teams. I think they had a horrible organization.
That's a good point.
Now, I think those two are different things, right? And how much can a good team elevate a bad organization? Not very, right? Not much. When everything in the building and in the organization is sometimes working against itself, I don't care how many good players you had. They had 3 Hall of Famers on those teams.
Yeah, that's a great point, Billy.
Because you stack up Ndamukong Suh's resume against anybody else, and he's one of the best players of that generation. So, you can have very good teams that don't get home because of a lot of different reasons. You're spot on. He had great talent. And I don't know that he's that, but he is, I think Josh Allen right now might be your favorite quarterback's favorite quarterback. Aaron Rodgers talking so wistfully about him a couple of weeks ago when the Steelers are getting ready to play the Bills. I really liked watching Josh. But looks like he's playing backyard football and slings it to Dawson Knox sidearm. Everyone loves watching that.
He's fun to watch.
Fun to watch. Matthew Stafford was that during those years where the Lions were good. It's not good enough. I mean, there weren't many times that Aaron Rodgers could have a microphone in front of him and not talk about how good Matthew Stafford was.
No, you definitely have that respect. And there's no doubt there's talent on the offense right now for the Rams, too. I mean, no one can stop Puka Nacua. Well, the only thing that can stop him is a live stream. But
himself
is a live stream.
His brother, apparently.
Puka's saying stuff on live streams that is just wild.
Just incredible. I mean, like,
but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, at least it wasn't just his brother's run-in with the law that was the only detractor for Puka Nacua this weekend. Yeah, it's maybe I saw Sam Decker put this out. Hey, maybe we just stay off stupid online streams during the season.
How come those guys can't give us that type of like juicy stuff in the press conferences? We go to the locker rooms.
We got to get the little mic, Armen.
We got to get little mics and get them totally comfortable with a video game headset on, thinking it ain't real. Because that's my only explanation. When there's a podium and there's a locker room and there's mic flags and professionals in suits, they think this is real. But when they sit down on some guy's couch, drinking a liquid death, or on a podcast, or there's some guy's live stream, they're like, this isn't real. I just playing around now. I can say whatever I want.
Not to put you on the spot. Did you see the video of the one that he was most recently on?
I thought I did, but there's a couple of them. I don't know.
Are they in a van?
It's something. I don't know. I mean,
are they in a weird van with autographs on the top?
Yeah, but see, Billy, now that Boston with the Boys did their thing, everyone's trying to do it. Everyone wants to copy it, right?
But there weren't even like seats. They're just like sitting on the ground. It's a weird spot.
I'll be honest with you, I have to go back and look to see if that was a van or a bus, or I don't know what video.
I don't know. It was some kind of bus. I
don't know what video you're watching with those buses.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe there was some kind of autographs or something on the screen or on the roof of that. Okay. 877-794-73. We had our friend Jerry Plowtrick say, I'm all in with the volleyball talk this morning, boys.
Oh, man.
State champs 1997.
What, Tosa
East?
Oh, yeah.
Represent.
Now, I was not in high school yet in 97, but they had a couple good players at Tosa East when I was there. There was a kid named Landish, and we used to say, he's outlandish. That was my running
one.
Well, listen, when you're sitting on the bench in volleyball, you got to come up with jokes. You got to start cracking.
That's fair.
You got to crack these jokes. And that's what I did a lot of times. Well, volleyball is a fun time, Billy. And you didn't get hurt a lot, which was nice.
Well, that's for sure. Now, I will say, I got to watch a little bit of volleyball in high school. Not as much as I wish I would have. I would have known it was the electric factory that, again, was last night. Shout out Kelly Sheffield and the girls. They had a phenomenal season and an incredible game last night.
Great
just
effort.
A couple of points short. And again, you put 25 up there for the final set and refused to bleeping lose. Carter Booth was getting that.
Yeah, we're gonna change those rules, right, Billy? We're making the fifth set a 25-point set. Is that our next goal, right?
Am I ridiculous for saying that?
No, but I think the problem is when you look at overtime.
I know it's the dawn of time.
Or tiebreakers.
They've been playing this for a long time, and I'm late to the party.
I think the problem is they call it a 5-set match, and in your head, you're like, "That's a regular set."
Then that's regulation
instead of it being overtime.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
you can't tell me that a regulation point is meaningless. It should be more. If anything, on that math, make it a 50.
You should make it a longer. Man, talk about a battle of attrition. You get tired at that point because you're going up and down, but the adrenaline's rolling with you because you just react in volleyball at that point. And Kelly's calling some great twists and backslides and some stuff like that.
And some subtle trash talk, which was awesome by the ladies last night.
I like when they do that.
I really appreciate
But they're used to it. It's not like you don't really get offended that much as a lady.
Not at all.
Women, because they're used to the cheers and the stuff like that. Like they do that a lot.
A couple of and ones that I saw, and I loved it. That was a phenomenal job.
The roof on. That used to be a big one. The roof, that was a big one.
Some stuffings with some turkey in there.
Yeah.
That was a very, very good battle.
Don't come under the net. I'm kicking you back on the other side. That's what one of our guys did once.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, he got in big trouble for that one.
I would assume
you got a red card for that one.
What
You can't do that. That was the
closest. What were you
closest.
guys teaching over at Greenfield High School?
Hey, listen, I don't condone that in my administration. I got carded on the bench once. I got carded on the bench.
You can't say that and not expect to have to tell the story.
No, I got carded on the bench. I gave the guy. There was an old term in volleyball where if you got spiked in the face, it was called a 6-pack. I don't know if they still call it that anymore. It was a 6-pack. And there was a guy, and we were playing Tulsa West. I really didn't like this kid for a specific reason I don't kind of talk about. I really didn't like this kid. Really didn't like him. And one of our guys six-packed him right in the face. And I got up on my seat in the bench. I pointed at him, and I just took the drink right there.
Oh!
I took the drink. I went like that.
And they red carded you for that?
It was our one of our gym teachers. I might have just been a yellow card. One of our gym teachers was the ref, and he's like, Armen, you can't do that. I gotta card you. You can't do that, Armen. You can't do that. You can do it to your own team. You can't do it to them. I said, I know. It was a yellow card. We had already wrapped it up by then. So
You
I didn't
earned
feel
that
bad.
one, though.
My coach wasn't- I don't think my coach is even mad at me, but I think he was confused. You're calling it on Armen? What did he do?
Hold on.
my
Armen?
bench?
What did he do? He's just standing there.
Those
The
were good
sweetest kid in the
days.
world.
I gave him this one right here. I kind of came over me. I never do that stuff. I did not like that kid.
Fucking so bad. I'd love to know what that kid did.
I'll tell you in the break.
Good, and then I'll tell it on the other side. 877-794-1973. It's No BS on the game.
When I'm in the club, G, bro, I know the thug beat.
Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS will be back in just a moment. The top spot in the NFC North is on the line once again. This time it's in the Windy City as the Packers go on the road to face the Bears.
It's a chess match. That's kind of how it is when these games are this close. And it also comes down to the players, man, who wanted more. So we're going to see who wanted more. I think the biggest thing for us as offense is just doing it more consistently. Stops having so many, splash plays here and there. Have a week where, we almost go perfect in the red zone, and then a week like last week where we didn't convert as much as we wanted to in the red zone. I think it's just about being more consistent as an offense and, our playmakers showing up every week.
Billy and Armen are previewing every angle of the rivalry all morning on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
In January of 1968, Steppenwolf released their debut album, including the single Born to Be Wild, which charts at number 2 in the U.S. Johnny Cash records 2 live shows at California's Folsom Prison, along with June Carter and Carl Perkins. Also in January, the Beatles are number 1 with Hello Goodbye. In London, they launched their own company, Applecore, with a store, a recording studio, and record label. February of 68, Pink Floyd lead singer Syd Barrett is checked into a psychiatric hospital and the band replaces him with David Gilmour. The Beatles, Donovan, Mia Farrow, and others travel to India to study transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Bill Graham opens the Fillmore East concert venue in an abandoned New York City theater. April of 1968, the musical Hair opens on Broadway for the first of 1,750 performances. It would spawn several top 40 hits, including Aquarius, Good Morning Starshine, and Hair. Simon and Garfunkel released their album Bookends, which goes to number 1 in the US and the UK. The single Mrs. Robinson would go to number 1 in June, thanks to the movie The Graduate.
God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to number 1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits number 3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of 71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 number 1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqualung.
Starts running down his nose. Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their 3rd number 1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their 2nd number 1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the number 1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971, coming up.
iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Pat Benatar songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Love is a Battlefield. Number 2, We Belong. Number 1, Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Hit me with your best shot. Why don't you hit me with your best shot? Hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
Hear more from Pat Benatar and similar artists now. Search for Pat Benatar on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets. Place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
RGF Production.
For me, boy. Yeah. 17:30. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello. Since you're pretty.
Heck of a game coming up at Lambeau Field in 8 days from right now, which still might be somewhat meaningless. We'll update you on why the Packers and Ravens might not have playoff implications in 8 days. But tomorrow night at Soldier Field, all eyes on Packers and Bears. Good news from Ian Rappaport yesterday, though. And this from a couple of different spots. The full quote from Ian Rappaport was on Micah Parsons. It is a clean ACL tear. Going to have surgery after they strengthen around the knee in the coming days and weeks. It is a 9-month recovery, so he has a chance. Rappaport says, I would say a good chance to be ready for the start of the 2026 season.
He'll be ready. He'll be there. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a doctor. I just know Mike is a dog or a lion, as he put on his Twitter account, and he'll do everything he can. He'll get the best treatment, and assuming his knee heal. Everybody heals differently, Billy. We know that, but assuming he can get a good recovery, good heal, I would assume when they say clean tear, that means there's no complications in it.
Yeah, nothing else. It was just the ACL, which
Yeah.
is, again, like as bad as it can get is blowing out your ACL, but it can be a lot worse, right? Like Patrick Mahomes, I believe he had an ACL, LCL, and potentially a little bit more collateral damage.
And my thought is if they feel they can wait for the strengthening, that means they have a good idea they can get a better edge on the recovery. I would think
For sure.
If you get the swelling to go down, you set the recovery up better before the surgery. That is interesting. I don't know what are they going to do to strengthen. I have no idea, but I'm not a doctor, Billy.
And I don't play one on
yeah,
TV. I did say at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Jason Hirschhorn was the one that put the words on print, but Rap Sheet said it last night on the Thursday night pregame show on Amazon. You can also find the video on his social media page, but it's definitely a good piece of news when thinking of the long-term goals that are still in front of Micah Parsons with the Green Bay Packers, much like Jeff Hafley said, like, hey, bet against him and bet what he is not going to be able to do. And kind of laughed at by a certain amount of the media. I don't necessarily know that it was intentional. I think they were just trying to grab some context to it, make sure that they had the whole story. But like Demoski and Schneider were like, well, next year, the Packers sack record or like the NFL sack record. If he's playing all 17 games and he's available to start the season, then it's a much different conversation about trading your next 2 first-round picks for a guy that is also going to be in year 2 coming off of a torn ACL.
Yeah, and frankly, Billy, I still don't think it is much of a conversation because you have to make moves that you can at the time to try and win games, and the Packers felt this was a decisive move that was worth it, and frankly, it had been paying off. I mean, Micah Parsons having a great year, helped this team. You can't live in fear of injuries in the National Football League because it's just part of it. So did it hindsight maybe work in a different way if this injury? Yeah, I understand why people say that, but I still don't think decision-wise it would have been made it a bad decision just because something unfortunate happened to your team. Not saying it's a good thing, obviously. Now, imagine, Billy, now everyone likes to think, I love a promotion, right? Imagine you're Dr. Michael Ryan, Packers head team physician, and then October 9th, Brian Gutekunst announced that the changes to his staff, that you've taken over as head team physician. That's been what a wild 2 months he's had in that role. I mean,
no kidding.
Hey, what a nice promotion. Hey, by the way, you got to deal with all these things now. He took over for Dr. McKenzie, longtime Packers team head physician. McKenzie, I know, is still advising him, so he's still there, but transitioning into Packers head team physician. So Dr. Michael K. Ryan has a lot of work to do, but I'm sure he'll do a great hell of a job. He's board certified, I'm sure.
And I know there were a lot of people that were asking. We had a couple of people ask us on the talking text line yesterday, or it was on the Twitter stream. There are certain guys that end up rehabbing in different locations just because you're not going to be in the football meeting room in the conversation. So like if that's easier for you to do at home, a lot of times it probably is easier for you to do at home. At certain times, especially in the middle of the winter, might be easier for you to be in a warmer weather climate
on the body and all that stuff.
There's a lot of different reasons why. And for certain teams and certain players, like they only want to do it in one specific place. Now you might go and have the surgery somewhere, fly back, do a lot of your rehab in the building with the team. I imagine Micah will be around at certain points, but like this now becomes you're on the team, but not really, right? Like you're as far away removed from the team as kind of humanly possible, because while they're going about the business of working every single day to beat the next opponent, you're just trying to be there the next time. And a lot of times your schedule and rehab will be right during all of the team meetings and practices and film studies. And that's why you're so removed from everything, because all you can do is spend your 24 hours a day worried about this ligament, trying to make sure that it gets back to full strength.
Absolutely. Imagine you're going to be having a surgery in the week or coming weeks. You're going to be having to do the immediate surgery rehab, which is just the regular medical stuff. And then you're going to be doing all the actual stuff. Like, you don't want him flying around to the facility to Green Bay, snow and ice. First off, it sounds silly, but like, I don't want him like having to be on whatever apparatus he has to be in the time being, slipping on the ice or something like that. Yeah, you got to get to a warm weather climate now.
That's fair point,
big playoff game, maybe, hopefully, big Super Bowl game. Maybe he meets the team in that regard and goes and is part of the group there. If his medical situation, obviously, if he's not laid up with whatever recovery he has, you have to take what you have to take in the medical recovery.
I very
seriously.
much see Micah Parsons at a home playoff game,
Something
hanging
like
up
that
in a suite.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Very much so.
But I don't want him walking around the sideline in 2-degree weather if it's snowing and icing.
Probably
either.
prefer not.
I mean, be honest with you. I know there's a lot about, hey, be there with the team. This is different than the Giannis
Meet us in
watch.
Santa Clara.
Is like Giannis on the bench tonight. That's a little different because like it's obviously a different situation. So stuff like that, I don't know if we're trying, but like that's a different situation, Bill.
Now you brought it up, so
Yeah,
let's go there for a
Yeah.
couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Giannis on the bench last night. Giannis in front of a microphone yesterday. Giannis talking with a big, sweet Nike jacket on yesterday at Bucks headquarters and facilities, talking about being a member of the team and being locked in, being where his feet are. What did you hear when you heard from Giannis yesterday? Because he did a very, very good job once again, Armen, of finding his way to not say anything while putting kind of all of the onus on everybody other than himself.
He did, and we'll get the audio, but I know what a lot of people are thinking. Like, what is this nonsense? Now, if you didn't hear it, Giannis said something to the effect of, look, I have not talked to the Bucks. My agent has, and my agent can say whatever he wants, but I can't control what he said. I don't know what he said, but that's not me. He does work for me. So it's a lot of like, yeah, that's true. But obviously your agent works for you. And in theory, he's your mouthpiece and he's your representation. So we assume rightly so that what your agent said is a representation of you. To his point, though, he is literally correct by technicality that he can't control what his agent says. And what his agent says is different than what he says.
Eric Name asks Giannis about the report about him and his agent reaching out to the Bucks about the future before the game against the Pistons a couple of weeks ago. So I did not hear that report. Again, if my agent is talking to the Bucks about it, he's his own person. He can have any conversation he wants about it. At the end of the day, I don't work for my agent. My agent works for me.
Okay.
And
so
there's
you
going to be
acknowledge that.
conversations that are going to be made between him and the Bucks and him and his other players and him and other teams and other GMs, executives around the league. It's something you can't control, but at the end of the day, I personally have not had the conversation with the Bucs. I'm still locked in on my teammates. Most importantly, locked in on me getting back healthy. And when I'm locked in on my teammates and how I can help them from the sideline or encourage them to be able to play and play free, because at the end of the day, it's going to take a toll on them too, right? They're playing game after game after game. Thank God we've had a good schedule the last couple of weeks, but it takes a toll on them too. Like rumors and that in and out, injuries and lose and win. It's hard, right? So as a leader, but most importantly, as a winner, I just got to be there for them first.
As a winner.
So right now, again, I'm just focused on getting back healthy on the court, focusing on how I can encourage my team to be the best version of themselves. And after that, focus on how I can go out there and help them win games and get out of this hole that we've dug ourselves in, and then everything else come after that.
So interesting, right, Billy? You heard a lot of things there. From his mouth, we heard, look, I haven't talked to the Bucs about that. This is not me. I'm only focused on me, my teammates, and I acknowledge it's tough for them. So at least he's being somewhat honest there and say, okay, this has probably been difficult. I'm focused on getting healthy and going out and playing for the Bucs.
At least we have that awareness.
Okay.
Yes.
We have that awareness. Things I would disagree with him about. He said, I can't control what he said. You can do a lot to control what your agent says.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. All right.
Very much so.
Obviously, you employ him, right? So there's a little bit of like willful ignorance there. I don't know what he's saying and I don't care. Well, he represents you, so you kind of know what he's saying. You kind of should care. And it's like you don't want to control what he says to some point. Right?
Yeah, and the part where he says when he talks about there's going to be conversations that are going to be made between him and the Bucs, him and his other players, him and other teams and other GMs, executives around the league. Okay, yes, we understand he is going to talk to human beings. He's got to live 24 hours a day. How many of them are about you, big fella?
And what are they about?
And when has he been instructed, or how has he been instructed to have conversations when your name is about them? And when you are the centerpiece of those conversations? Like you're spot on, Armen. And it's where I do believe there's going to be more sentiment like this that starts to grow, really frustrated with the, well, it's not me, it's him, part of the argument. We understand, again, you got to at some point tell us. And you got to potentially be the bad guy if you want to be. And it seems like he is going through a very hellish back and forth in his own personal head as to, do I really want to go full nuclear James Harden, Jimmy Butler, force my way out of here? Or do I just, just be honest?
And is there a good opportunity too? Like
that's
all
these
the
other
other
teams
thing
that I'm looking around at that potentially would be gutting for him. You know what you're going to do? Lose to Oklahoma City. Like as bad as it sounds right now, Armen, it does appear like it is Oklahoma City and everybody else in the
So he might think, look, I'm just going to stick this thing out then too. So all those things he's going through right now, and that's part of it. I will say this to defend Giannis a bit.
Come on, go do it.
Isn't this what an agent's for? Isn't this exactly what an agent's supposed to do? To remove you, to be your buffer from the conversation so you can focus on nothing else but basketball? Isn't he executing the position of agent? I'm talking about Alex Karras, whatever. Sarasis. Isn't he doing the position exactly what it's meant to be? Like, isn't it supposed to totally remove you from any emotional part of it? The agent's supposed to have conversations. Yeah, you're supposed to advise the agent and be aware of what he's saying and recommend things and say, like, this is what I want, so please. But the agent's like, I understand that, but I'm going to negotiate the way I think is best for you. Okay, well, that's your job. My job is to play ball. In a way, this is exactly what's supposed to happen. And guess what? Giannis has said, I haven't talked. I'm focused on basketball. Well, maybe we should be okay with that, right? At this point as Bucs fans. Maybe that's the best we're going to get from our girl, know?
To quote one of my favorite television shows of all time, Drake and Josh. And when Josh Peck would say, I ain't calling you a liar, but I ain't calling you a truther. Like there's a lot of truth in there.
There's something there.
There's something to, yes.
Maybe her phone was hacked.
Yeah, he's doing his own thing and he's supposed to be having these conversations. Again, though, so that is if you're going to tell me that you have no information, that he does not fill you in on how any of these conversations are going,
right?
That you don't want him to be having any of these conversations. Again, that truth you don't have to let out. So maybe you're not necessarily lying to me. But you're sure as hell not telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
And that's fair.
So help you God.
If a coach or like, let's say even there are some people in our industry with agents, right? I don't have money. I don't have money. I don't have money.
We don't make enough money.
But some people do, and like
clearly,
isn't it their job to have like constant conversations on your behalf? Like, and you might not be 100% aware of the little things they're saying to everybody to have those conversations. I get how that sounds, but like there might be something to that, and why Giannis is saying, I haven't heard that, I don't know about it, and it's not my problem. We do know this about Giannis. When it's time for tunnel vision and focus, he's very good at that. He's good at blocking certain things out. He's good at focusing on his craft and all that stuff. So everyone's saying, well, Giannis could just go up and say, put an end to it by saying, I want to be a Buck. Well, he did say, I'm going to be playing for the Bucks, and that's my focus.
I'm locked in right now.
So that is sort of as close as we'll get to him saying it, because he's also not stupid and he's not going to lock himself into one decision right now. Because if he says out of his mouth right now, I want to be a Buck and I'm not leaving, which is what some people think, why don't you just do it? Then he can never change his mind, right, Billy? He can never change his mind at that point. That means, then he really puts himself in a bad position. So in some ways, I think he is employing an agent to do exactly what the agent's supposed to do, and is remove him from the situation. And if Giannis is truly that good at narrow tunnel vision, for to be totally removed from what he's saying, that's impressive. Because not only does
he's
Giannis
totally just that good.
Giannis doesn't always have an agent. He's also got brothers that are they act sort of like his agent. Like, in that way, they're very close and tight knit. They have these conversations all the time. So that's okay. That's part of it. But hey, maybe she didn't get that text. Maybe she really did get hacked. Is that what am I that guy that's like kind of getting tricked by thinking like, no, I didn't.
Well,
my DMs were hacked.
There's an S word potentially for this.
Oh,
but some people don't necessarily love. But I mean, like there's something to it. Yeah, there's something to it. But listen, you don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe it. I get it. He clearly doesn't want you to know, or is doing a very, very good job of trying to keep your feelings out of it.
Now, there might be some little Stockholm Syndrome. It did feel good to hear his voice and hear him talk about it. Like, he didn't do it on Analysis.
Didn't talk about it at all on that podcast.
So I'm like,
how many downloads do you think ended up rifling through that broadcast and saying, wait a second, he didn't say a single word about this? He didn't get asked about it once?
He knows what he's doing for Thanasis. All right,
he knows exactly what he's doing. I like that Armen, though, still is believing that there's just a wistful just lack of understanding, lack of care.
I think if there is a job to be done by a agent, this is how it's supposed to be done. Like, if I employ a HVAC guy to come do my HVAC, because I don't know what I'm doing, his job is to do the HVAC, not to inform me or not to have me advise him on the HVAC. Do the HVAC. Tell me what it costs. Fix it. Tell me how to work it. I'm done.
But at some point when that HVAC guy comes over and diagnoses the problem and tells you, what do you want me to do about this? Gives you one of two choices.
Okay, that's good.
He gives you one of two choices.
Would you
like another estimate? Would you like to go and shop this price around?
Or do you want to fix me to fix it?
Or would you like me to fix this issue? 877-794-1973. No BS on the game. He's Armen. I'm Billy. You're at 877-794-1973. And on the YouTube comments, they're going up off of that conversation. We already knew they would. And we're going to get into the football conversation with our friend Wayne Larrabee coming up in 15 minutes from right now. But the injury report on the Bears side gives maybe one reason to look at how the Packers are going to try to defend this Bears team. And two injuries on the outside. Still a positive impossibility for the pass game to be an issue for the Packers defense coming up this weekend. We'll get into all of it coming up. 2 more hours to play as we get ready for Packers and Bears tomorrow night at Soldier Field. It's no BS on the game.
No problem with me. Just another day at the pick up on the mail. It's a channel riding through the street.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
Well, they say all good things come to an end. After taking an early lead in their national semifinal volleyball match against Kentucky, the Badgers lose in 5 sets, ending their season. Kentucky goes on to play Texas A&M Sunday in the national championship match. Badgers basketball tonight in Milwaukee against Villanova. Tip-off is set for 7. The Packers, meanwhile, will head to Chicago later today ahead of tomorrow night's rematch against the Bears. Kickoff tomorrow night at Soldier Field is set for 7:20. And Week 16 in the NFL kicked off with a barn burner in Seattle last night. The Seahawks outlast the Rams in overtime 38-37. Seattle, for now, at 12-3, the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. And from the NBA, the Bucks' struggles continue. They fall to the Raptors 111-105. Bobby Portis with a double-double. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. Micah Parsons is out for the season.
And Micah Parsons is down. He was chasing the quarterback. Parsons battling McGlinchey, beat him as he came across, and then just pulled up. Left knee, Micah Parsons. Oh, my goodness.
Parsons' injury, a non-contact injury, and he is so sudden and so explosive. He stops, and the knee joint probably just kept going.
Yeah.
Where do the Packers go from here?
I told the guys nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and we got to rally around one another, and everybody's going to have to elevate their play.
We're talking about what's next for the Pack with the best analysis and the best guests.
The voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrabee, joining us.
It's on to Chicago now. There's not much you can do about the Denver game. You hope to get some of these guys back. Again, I hope Zach Tom can play. He's crucial. But, the players I mentioned, they're all blue chip players that went out. And Evan Williams, another guy that underrated. I mean, they need him in that secondary. Micah Parsons, like you said, that changes everything. Christian Watson, I mean, maybe Matthew Golden can pick up the slack downfield, but again, he's just a rookie, and I thought he stepped up and played really well yesterday. He's got the best hands on this team. Yep. All right, he does. And I think Matthew Golden is a guy in this last month of the season, we were really hopefully going to see what he can bring to the party because I think he's got a lot to offer.
On your home for the best Packers coverage, The Game.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
It's April 1973. Friday night TV means such must-sees as The Brady Bunch, The Odd Couple, and Love American Style. On the radio, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Steely Dan have their first hit, Do It Again. Not long before their induction, co-founder Donald Fagen recalled an item he wasn't able to donate to the Cleveland Museum.
My parents live in Cleveland, and my niece, Emily, practices piano on the same piano I learned on. It's very cheap, Acrosonic Spinet. And they were going to get a new piano, so they said, well, what do you want us to do with your old piano? I said, well, I don't want to ship it back here. I tell you what, let me call the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and see if they want it. And they said they didn't have room for it, so I had to ship it back to New York.
Jack, do it again. We'll turn it round and round. You go back, Jack, do it again.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers have a #1 album, The Heat Is On, driven by the #4 single, Fight the Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to #9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to #12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the #1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Foghat have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of 75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to #1 in the US and the UK.
What have we found? Same old fears. Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up.
Yeah. Come on. Hey ladies.
Hey ma. What's up?
Let's slide.
Alright.
Alright. We gon' get it on tonight. You smoke, I drink, well good, we gon' get hot. Got drops, got trucks, all right.
Packers and Bears at Soldier Field, control of the NFC North on the line tomorrow night. Wayne Larrivee going to stop by in about 10 minutes from right now and discuss it. Yesterday, Luther Burden, rookie wide receiver, as well as Rome Odunze, second-year wideout with a foot injury, ankle for Burden. Both DNPs, both listed as out for Chicago.
That's big. I mean,
is big. Now, Armen, I will say, though, it adds into a very interesting battle that will be had between Ben Johnson, the Packers defense, Jeff Hafley. How much of the second half game plan from a couple of weeks ago is implemented earlier? Now, Burden was a big piece in the comeback puzzle for the Bears at Lambeau Field. He had a couple of big receptions, one 24-yarder to kickstart that final drive where the Bears are in position to tie the game up with the Caleb Williams interception to Keyshawn Nixon. Burden's a big piece of that. He's slowly come on as a massive threat for them, and he's been targeted on like 30% of the routes that he's run on the outside, and that's one of the highest amongst NFL wide receivers. So, like, when he's been out there, Williams has been targeting him. Rome Odunze last year, you could tell, was kind of his main dude, even though Keenan Allen, seasoned vet out there, DJ Moore still can really, really play, was out there. DJ Moore has been somewhat MIA over these few weeks.
Which is interesting.
I just think that with those two injuries out, it potentially doesn't play as well as helpfully to the Packers, because I think it just does exactly what the Bears leans and forces the Bears to lean in on what was the most successful a couple of weeks ago, which was running the football right at Green Bay.
Right at the middle.
And in that second half, Armen, especially into that fourth quarter, which is still necessarily a spot you don't want to be in against Chicago because they've won a lot of fourth quarter games. Yeah, it felt like you were getting bailed out every time they didn't put the ball in the belly of DeAndre Swift or Kyle Monungai. Feel like with the two injuries on the outside, Ben Johnson probably, his hand going to be a little bit forced to be handing the ball off.
I agree with you. That's their strength. But Caleb Williams, to have a chance in that game, Caleb Williams still had to make some big plays with his feet and his arm. And he did that a lot. Without those plays, the Bears still don't have a chance to beat the Packers just running the ball, in my opinion. So Caleb Williams is still going to have to make some big throws in this game to win. If the Bears are going to win this game, it's going to be part of it. That being said, if the numbers suggest that Burden and Odunze, especially Luther Burden's his safety blanket, his security blanket, and they have the chemistry, and all of a sudden that guy's out, then that might really hurt his chances on the off-schedule plays to be looking for the right guy. Because, I mean, Luther Burden's a talent, and, when the Packers were looking at first-rounders, that was a guy I was looking at. I was like, oh, man, he's a good one. You kind of create, okay, Bears get him. You kind of cringe. So I agree with you that running the ball is the Bears' best strength, but they can't be totally one-dimensional on that either. They're going to have to make some plays through the air. Caleb's going to have to make some throws. And if that's his security blanket and those guys are out, that could be a bigger factor than people realize. I don't know. It could mean Caleb has the worst game of his career coming up. This weekend.
I like that.
And that would be a nice.
I like the sound of that. Come on now, Armen.
I'm hoping.
Talk about manifest. Let's do some of that.
I'm hoping, but wouldn't that be nice if he rolled up and had a terrible. How's he done in these big, platform games? Caleb Williams didn't win a lot of those at USC. He won some of them. He didn't win a lot of them. So this is the biggest game of his young career. There's no doubt about it. Let's see how he responds. I just hope that. Let's put all the pressure on Caleb Williams right now.
Listen, I'm down with doing more of that. And now
the coaching staff's got to be nervous that they got this game plan for him. What if he can't do it? What if he can't execute it the way I want him to? What if we have to go to backyard football again? Not the position you want to be in.
It's not exactly the position you want to be in, but I'll say if you're the Bears, you're feeling a lot better about being in that position this week than a couple weeks ago when Micah Parsons won't be chasing down number 18 behind. The man that'll be calling all the action for you on the Packers Radio Network, Wayne Larrivee, voice of the Green Bay Packers, joins us on the other side of a quick timeout. It's No BS. Hour 3 kicks off with Wayno. After this, he's Armen. I'm Billy. It's No BS on the game.
Get in the car and don't touch nothing. Sit in the car. Let's discuss something. Either we love it or I see you tomorrow.
Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game. Packers, Bears, round 2, tomorrow night.
I think it's the same for both teams. You know, you're always trying to find ways to scheme people up, but ultimately we got to go out there and just make sure we do the routine things correctly over and over again, which is hard when you're playing good people. You got really good coaches and really good personnel, and that is a challenge.
You know, we all understand the urgency that needs to be put forward. This is for the North, and I feel like everybody in this locker room understands that. So I don't think we're going to have any, trouble getting up for this one.
I think that we got everything that we need. Obviously it didn't work out for us last week, but I think that that's just the name of the game. They were a really good football team. I think we're, ready to go against anybody. I think we got the right guys on both sides of the ball to accomplish what we want to accomplish. We just got to go out there and execute and, out physical and out compete whoever is against us.
We're getting you ready for the matchup all day on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
In January of 1967, Los Angeles band The Doors released their debut album, which eventually goes to number 2, and features the single Light My Fire, which goes to number 1 in July. The Rolling Stones released Ruby Tuesday, an ode to a groupie written by Keith Richards. The song takes them to number 1 in the U.S. in March. And San Francisco band The Jefferson Airplane released the surrealistic Pillow album, scoring 2 top 10 hits with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
In March of 67, Buffalo Springfield re-releases their debut album to include the hit single For What It's Worth. In April of 67, Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group goes to number 7 in the U.S., with vocals by 17-year-old Steve Winwood. And in May, Elvis Presley marries his 21-year-old girlfriend Priscilla in Las Vegas. In May, Mitch Ryder hits number 4 with Devil with a Blue Dress, Good Golly Miss Molly. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience released their debut in the UK. In July, they toured the U.S. as the opening act for the Monkees in support of the U.S. album release.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
In May, the Rolling Stones spend the year recording in southern France and release the double album Exile on Main Street. It goes to number 1 in both the U.S. and the U.K. California band the Doobie Brothers score a hit off their second album, Toulouse Street, with the single Listen to the Music. More from the summer of 72, Curtis Mayfield is back on the charts with a soundtrack for the film Superfly. The album yields 2 top 10 hits with Freddy's Dead and the title track. And former Zombies keyboardist Rod Argent has a hit album and a number 5 single in the US and the UK with Hold Your Head Up.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up.
Harry Chapin's performance of the song Taxi on The Tonight Show 2 nights in a row leads to a hit. And struggling UK band Mott the Hoople get help from fan David Bowie, who produces their album and writes them a hit, All the Young Dudes, which peaks at number 3 in the UK and in the top 40 in the States.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Interrupt you in the middle of your ain't it time with after me. Love you.
Love you.
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the number 1 album in the US and the UK and a number 1 single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a number 1 single and a number 2 album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of 73, Stevie Wonder is back with the number 4 album, Inner Visions. And Florida band Leonard Skinner released their debut album, have a top 20 hit with Freebird and tour opening for The Who. Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and score a number 1 hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
This is No BS with Billy and Armen on Wisconsin's home for the best sports talk and other stuff. The Game.
No BS on the Game. Hour 3 on a football Friday starts up with the voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee. Our conversation with Wayne Larrivee on Mondays and Fridays, presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest. Check out the new Potawatomi Sportsbook podcast up there. Super special guest. I heard part of that podcast from yesterday. Discount Liquor, family owned and operated in Milwaukee and downtown Waukesha since 1960, and Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. Built in Wisconsin, built to last. Built to make your garage ready for December football. And Wayne, there might be a couple of times and a couple of folks that are watching this beautiful matchup between the Bears and Packers in a beautiful garage, listening to the broadcast of you guys on the Packers radio network, insulated, maybe a heater on the outside, a good space heater to have just a little bit of warmth while the cold light beer from Miller is going down the hatch, listening to a Packers and Bears game on a Saturday night. You've called a lot of these games. There's only been one matchup on a Saturday night, but feels like this is exactly the kind of night for Wisconsinites to be having a grand old time listening to the Packers radio network.
Yeah, I would guess so. It's the rivalry. It's everything else. It's in prime time. Why not? It's Saturday night. Yeah.
And we also joked with our friend Scott Dolphin, who said that he was hosting Christmas. Wayne, I'm also in like picturing there in what I just outlined. A lot of the family is inside. Then the kids are running around downstairs, and you just did your Secret Santa exchange and little white elephant. Here come the dads right around 7:18. Go and grab a couple of cold ones, fire up the TV outside, turn Wayne and Larry on the call, and hear the broadcast of the game. Because there is going to be some, this right around the holidays, this kind of a matchup in the NFL. These schedule makers realizing they're putting the best games at the end of the year. They're on one with this matchup on Saturday night, standalone game. It is the premier game after what we watched last night in the NFL this week.
Yeah, what a game last night that was. My goodness. I'm not surprised Seattle won. On Pro Football Weekly television podcast, I kind of predicted Seattle would win that game. Again, as good as the Rams are, as good as Seattle is, no one is great. No one is head and shoulders above anyone else. So it makes for a wide open playoff scenario, as we've been talking about. As far as this game goes, I mean, it's round 2 of Packers-Bears. But, guys, I've been thinking about it for 2 weeks now. I just think the Bears caught some momentum in the second half of Green Bay. And as I watched the tape of the Cleveland game at Chicago last week, the Bears played like they won the game in Green Bay. That's how they played. That's kind of enthusiasm you saw out there, the whole bit. So I think the Packers are in for it. They're not going to get 2 quarters of the real Bears. They're going to get 4 quarters of it, and I know they'll be ready for it.
How do you think that'll affect the chess game that already exists in the National Football League, especially when you're playing the same team 2 times in 3 weeks? I've always thought about this, Wayne. Do we overstate that chess match a little bit, or are both teams going to try and line up and do what they do best? Or do you think maybe one side holds something back that then they're saving it for the second game? Or, how do you think that chess game, how deep do you think it gets with these 2 coaches?
I think it depends on the coaches, but it's something I'm going to ask Matt LaFleur about in our pregame interview, because I think that's a great point. 2 games, 2 weeks. What can you do differently? And you have to do something differently in this ball game, to show something that maybe is an unscouted look, something like that. Very hard to do unscouted looks at this stage of the season because you played forever, it seems like. But at any rate, no, I think that's a valid point. I'm not quite sure what we'll see. I do know this. The Packers are not the same team that the Bears faced 2 weeks ago, not with the kind of injuries Green Bay has. Parsons out, maybe Zach Tom, Evan Williams possibly down in this game. Again, those guys are questionable, those last 2 names I mentioned. But, boy, losing Micah Parsons changes the whole equation. And maybe that, Armen, is where the Packers are going to be different this time around. Some of the defensive X's and O's strategy that they may have to use in Chicago obviously different when they could rush the quarterback with 4 with Micah Parsons.
Well, and it's a different team. You're spot on, Wayne, but it's also such a different plan of attack, you would assume. And one of the reasons why I thought, in line with you, that you're going to see a lot more of what you saw in the second half for the entire game. And the Packers are going to have to answer the bell and be able to stop the Bears probably 3 times handing the ball off to Swift or Monungai on any given sequence to be able to slow them down, not only because of Devontae Wyatt and Micah Parsons out, potentially Evan Williams, who's been fantastic in run support, but I also think because of the 2 wide receivers down for Chicago, it even further emphasizes why you see those 2 backs and that offensive line that was so rebuilt in the offseason be the plan of attack. And if Ben Johnson thinks they're going to roll to a victory, they're going to try to run to one coming up tomorrow night.
I think they will force the run. There's no question. I thought the Packers, going back and looking at the tape of the first meeting with the Bears, did a nice job against the run, to be honest with you. A very nice job. I know the Bears got 133 yards. I think it was something like that. But, it took them 32 running attempts to get that. And their longest run was 9 yards. We've talked a lot about that over the past couple of weeks. I think the Packers did a good job of containing the run in that game. They'll have to do the same in this one. A little bit different. The weather may play a role, guys. I think the temperature is supposed to be in the 40s, not horrible. Depends on how much that hawk blows off of Lake Michigan, because if that wind kicks up, that changes everything in the ball game. But at any rate, it looks like it'll be a pretty straight-up type of weather scenario, which means these 2 teams can do what they do best, or try to do what they do best to win the game.
Yeah, it's interesting you point that out about the running attack. That is the strength of the Bears. There's no question. However, Caleb Williams made a lot of plays with his feet and his arm to bring the Bears back in that second half. And I suspect he'll have to still do that if the Bears are going to win in this game. And down Luther Burden and Odunze, that might be a little bit more of a difficult task. We talk so much about the Packers injuries. The Bears have a couple as well, Wayne.
Yeah, they do. And those injuries will slow them. There's no doubt about that. But DJ Moore came on last week, made a great catch in the end zone of a phenomenal throw from Caleb Williams. The key with Caleb Williams is take away his right hand. Take away his right rollout, okay? That's the key. And I know that's the case with most right-handed quarterbacks. They're better rolling out to the right because they can square their shoulders a lot easier and make the throw. But Caleb Williams is exceptional to his right. And so I think the pass rush is going to be conscious of that and try to take that away as much as they can. But Williams is just, boy, you see him in person. I know, Billy, you were up there and you saw him. He is so fast. You don't realize how fast he is. And he was running away from Micah Parsons in that game. And not many quarterbacks can do that.
He also, Wayne, I don't know if you think the same way. He has a little bit more lower body strength, I think, than I gave him credit for. Might be one of the reasons why he's so quick. But his ability to kind of just like a shake off a tackler, almost like Sunshine, or Remember the Titans. He does that little duck move, and my man goes right over the top of him seemingly once a game. And he's able to escape through lanes that you just don't anticipate. And they've really force-fed these tight ends to him over the last couple of weeks. And I wonder how much of that is designed for Colston Loveland this week, because you mentioned rolling out to his right. If he rolls to his right and that athletic tight end is coming over on one of those deep crossers, look out, because that feels like a matchup that's going to be a difficult one for the Packers to run with.
I can't agree with you more. And you guys mentioned the injuries they have at wide receiver. Rome Odunze, their leading receiver, is out. Luther Burden, their promising speed guy, the quick guy in the slot, is out. But those tight ends are not out. And they're a big part of the game plan. If you watch the Bears over the course of the season, those 2 tight ends play prominently. And the Bears run more 13 personnel, which means 1 running back, 3 tight ends than most teams in this league. And, that's something to keep an eye on, because I think the tight ends are more than capable of picking up the slack in that passing game.
I think there's an assumption, Wayne, that the Packers are going to try and manufacture more pressure with Micah Parsons out. I think it's obviously incumbent on Rashawn Garrett to try and have one of his best games in absence. But will they try and bring extra blitzers all the time, or do you think, might go the other way and just like, what, we're going to protect with the umbrella. We're going to hope our first, front guys that we have there get home in that situation. It's going to be interesting to see how Jeff Hafley works this thing.
Very interesting, because Chicago's offensive line is, I think, the second best in the league, according to Pro Football Focus and any other metric you might look at. We faced the best line last week in Denver. And so, but I think, Armen, you've got to bring some pressure, because that line will just control the line of scrimmage if you don't. I think the Packers are going to have to, and people talk about blitz against the pass. Run blitzes are just as important. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you've got to cover your gaps, but run blitzes can be effective as well. And I think the Packers will have to do a combination of both. The one thing I saw in looking back at the tape, and I thought I saw it live that day 2 weeks ago, Rashawn Gary was really pressuring the quarterback. He didn't catch him, but he was chasing him down on occasion after occasion in that game. And Rashawn's going to have to be very active in these last 3 games for the Packers to make hay.
Wayne, there's nobody, one singular player that you just say, well, just get pressure like Micah did. That's the last thing that anybody can go into a meeting or a game plan being able to do. But I saw the same thing you did. Like, I know Rashawn has taken a lot of arrows, and rightfully so. He hasn't had a sack since October, right? Like, that. There's a reason why you get paid $25 million to be an edge rusher, and it's to get guys down on the ground. I think he's done a pretty good job in run support. I think Lucas Van Ness is a really, really good run defender on the outside. I think Brenton Cox and JJ Enagbare might be their better pass rushers out of this group. But when you start looking at how you can get pressure with this group, is it only blitzing, or do you need to see just some of the internal improvement that we felt like we were seeing a little bit during training camp from a Van Ness and a Brenton Cox? Or can you scheme some of that up with an Edrin Cooper or a Quay Walker?
I think they'll do a combination of both. I think you have to be available. You have to do both to be effective. They may do some stunting with their linemen at the line of scrimmage, but they're going up against one of the best interiors in the NFL. Those the 2 guards and the center are just outstanding. And, they do a lot of zone blocking. And, Billy, you know better than I about zone blocking, how effective it can be. Certainly in the ground game, you've got to be aware of the cutbacks. The blocking will go one way. The running back will start that way and then cut it back behind the seal of that offensive line. We've seen it time and time again, especially with the DeAndre Swift. So the Packers are always going to have somebody back there. They're going to always have to have somebody in that contained mode. Furthermore, I think the pass rush, I wouldn't count so much on sacks, but can you contain Caleb Williams? Can you keep him in the pocket a little bit longer than maybe he would like to be? And if you can, he's still very erratic from the pocket in terms of a completion percentage. But when he's out on the flank of the play, that's where he's dangerous.
Yeah. There was one game down at Soldier Field where there was a very, very famous quote from, I believe it was a Tremont Williams, where he said, "We just knew that we had to make Mitch play quarterback." I don't necessarily know that these are the same spots, or the Charles Woodson. We knew that if we just kept playing defense, Jay was going to throw us the ball. That's not Caleb, but Wayne, to your point, if you can force him to consistently win from the pocket, that feels like the best recipe for Green Bay to be able to go in and win.
I really think it is, Billy. And again, the Bears are more than capable of protecting him, but that pass rush, I think you're going to have to be a little more aware of where Caleb Williams is. And as far as throwing interceptions, he doesn't put the ball in harm's way that much at all.
Right.
Now, Bo Nix, who many call Bo Picks, should have thrown 3 interceptions last week, in Denver. Go back and look at that tape. And 3 interceptions. They just hold on to the ball. I understand defensive backs are defensive backs because they don't have great hands. Yeah. I get that. That's why they're there. But by the same token, Xavier McKinney had 2. I believe it was it Carrington Valentine or the other?
Yeah.
There was good coverage in that game. And they make those plays. Maybe the Packers come out of Denver with a win.
And maybe we're talking about a different Bo Nix type game, because everyone was talking about how great of a game he had. Yeah.
Amen. And well, and Armin, we had a texter a couple of years ago say that we needed to be lining up for the Bo Nix sweepstakes. We didn't anticipate that we were going to get that clap back in our face after this past week.
That's right. So takeaways obviously are always a big factor, but you're right, Wayne. Caleb doesn't do it a lot. So he did it at the most, opportune time 2 weeks ago. Once again, I think takeaways are going to be the X factor in this game. Is there another one we're missing besides takeaways in terms of X factors that we haven't talked about?
I think it's a big factor. The Bears, obviously, at +20, lead the universe in giveaway takeaway ratio. The Packers don't get a lot of turnovers as a defense. They don't. I believe they have 10 whatever it is this year. And so they've been a little better recently, but not, to the point where, like the Bears, they're taking the ball away to almost 4 times a game, it seems like. But my point is this, takeaways are huge in any game, but especially in this game, because if the Packers don't give the Bears help with takeaways, I think they've got a chance, in Soldier Field to get the win. But they're going to have to be very clean in what they do. Green Bay has only had 10 turnovers this year, 2 of them last week. And I think that, that's a good opportunity in this ball game. If the Packers can take care of business, they can make things happen and not help the Bears. 13 takes by the Green Bay defense. That's not among the league leaders. The Packers only have 10 gives. So this is going to be an interesting thing, but I think the quarterback's going to have to play really well in this game. And the other factor we haven't mentioned is Chicago's getting healthy. They may get Tremaine Edmonds back in the middle of that defense. TJ Edwards was back for the game in Green Bay. I thought he played, looking back on the tape, I thought TJ Edwards played really well.
Yeah, Wayne, I hate to say it. If you look at the injuries, they're kind of going in the opposite directions, right? They're getting more healthy at their biggest spots, and the interior of that defense and the Packers leaking oil on that side. The Evan Williams and Zach Toms, those are huge question marks. I think those are the cleanest, the truest of questionables, right? Because when you see Christian Watson running out there, I think it's going to take a lot to keep him off the field. We already know you're not stopping Josh Jacobs, I think, from putting that number 8 jersey on Saturday night. But for those two guys, Wayne, one on offense, one on defense, if I was able to let Wayne Larrivee play commissioner of the world and one was going to suit up, which do you think is most impactful for the Packers to have tomorrow night?
I think they're both crucial. I mean, people don't realize Evan Williams is developing into a standout player in this league. I'm not saying star, but I think standout player. He and Bullard have really come on in their second years. Nobody notices because we're all watching Micah Parsons rush the quarterback. But those guys have been terrific, I think, this year. And so, but Zach Tom, the bottom kind of fell out in the second half against Denver, and they got consistent pressure without Zach Tom on the field. The thing that I would be worried about, I would play them both, but my worry would be they get in there, and after a series or two, they leave. And now you've compromised your roster. Now you're down. Instead of playing, what do they play? 46 men, 48 men on the roster, the game day roster. Now you're down to 46. You know what I mean? So that's the hard part. That's what the team has to balance. They've been quicker to get players back on the field, but at times we've seen where a player would come back and play one series and be gone. And that is really penalizing to the team in terms of the amount of players you have available and the things you can do.
Yeah, you're spot on, Wayne. It does appear that they've been quicker to being able to get players back. It feels like they've also, and Matt at least has alluded to it and made mention of it, like they're going to listen to the player. And the player is going to have to be brutally honest with themselves and the coaching staff. Like, hey, I do believe I'm going to be able to go. But, like Tom against Myles Garrett in Cleveland, it's like, I can only tell you how much I'm going to be able to go full strength. Until I got that behemoth superhuman across from me, I'll figure out exactly what I'm able to do. I struggled to say it, but I almost felt like Williams because of how good he is in run support. You're spot on, Wayne. Him and Bullard, two of the most unsung players on that defense that nobody's going to be able to watch.
I can't agree with you more. And, so, yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at the Bears game, Evan Williams was all over the run game. Every time somebody got through the line of scrimmage, 33 was there to knock him down. I think he's a terrific young player. I think the same thing about Bullard's athleticism. I think, 33 may be a little more instinctive than 20, meaning Williams over Bullard, but nonetheless, they're both very good athletic players. That Packers defense, they tackle well. Why? Well, because they get more than one hat to the ball. It's hard to tell who got there first when you watch Green Bay because at least 2 guys are there and a third is coming hot and heavy. So I really admire the way they're playing defense, but I do think they're going to need some help with the pass rush and containing Caleb Williams and, obviously reducing what the Bears can do on the ground. It's a heavy challenge this week. And like we said just a moment ago, the Bears gained a lot of momentum off the second half in Green Bay when they kind of dominated the Packers at times in that second half and outscored them for the half. But nonetheless, they gained some momentum. And they sure showed it against Cleveland last week. That was not a ball game.
Yeah, it's going to be so interesting. Wayne, I'm dying to ask you what your thoughts are. The scuttlebutt coming out of House Hall yesterday and Kevin Warren saying they're going to look at Northwestern Indiana. Are you ready to drive to Crown Point or Maryville or Gary, Indiana for a Packers Bear game?
Can I go back?
please.
What's the big casino place down there? Is it
Hard Rock, Hammond, Indiana?
Yeah, they call it the Hard Rock now. It used to be
I think back in the this has to go back to the late 80s when the Bears were barking about fixing up Soldier Field. And Mike McCaskey had them. I think it was out in Hammond, Indiana. He had a spot all set to go,
Wow.
and it just didn't work out. I don't know what's going on. They spent $300 million to buy the Arlington Park racetrack and destroyed that beautiful racetrack. And now what are they going to do? Just leave over a couple of tax issues? Come on. Their best bet is there's no question Arlington Heights is their best bet. And Arlington Heights officials know that. If we know that, they know that. And they're holding the Bears' feet to the fire. And the bear doesn't like getting burned on his feet. So they're threatening to jump over to Hammond, Indiana. What a disaster that would be.
They said you're so worried about a freeway. We got Irving Park Road. It's already the worst exit in the entire world. What else do you want us to build?
Train access there. You've got plenty of room to build your Bears Village, your Bears Den over there, whatever the heck you're building. Well, I don't get it, but Illinois is filled with a lot of politics. And back when I lived there, the governors would go from the governor's mansion to jail. That's where they would go. One after the other. So I don't know.
I just love Wayne.
Illinois. I love Chicago. It's great. It's the best sports town in America. I love it. We enjoyed Illinois when we lived there, but my gosh, there's some weird things happening there. And politically, it's nuts when you consider, especially this Bears stuff. This is a no-brainer. Arlington Heights Bears. Yeah. Most of their fans live up there in Arlington Heights, for gosh sakes.
Yes, I'm one of my best friends.
In the city, you got a train ride up there.
Yeah, it's 40 minutes and you're good. One of my best friends lives like 15 minutes from me and goes, well, but then I don't even get to see the city. I don't get to see the lights. I'm like, well, now you're just bitching to bitch. Now you're just upset because you decided that you're a Bears fan. It's a tough life to live. I understand. But listen, there could be a lot worse lots in life.
He'll see plenty of the city sitting in traffic on the Skyway going all the way down to Maryville or Whiting or Gary,
I just
Indiana.
love that it happened this week, Wayne.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a botched PR move? Let's do it the week before or the day of or 3 days before our biggest game in 12 years.
Yeah.
Spot on. Way to go, Kevin Warren. Atta baby.
This is Wayne Larrabee, and the wind is whipping from the Indiana Dunes State Park here on the Packers Radio.
Yeah, the wind doesn't blow like it does off those sand dunes. I'm telling you. It was never this bad in Soldier Field, although it was really bad in Soldier Field at times.
Oh, the only thing worse than the wind sometimes at Soldier Field is the turf. Now, the turf will absolutely be terrible. We'll wait for John Kuhn to be able to give us that on the first look when you guys fire it up at 5 o'clock tomorrow, like 5:05 for those that are very much appointment listening, coming up tomorrow night on the Packers Radio Network. Wayne, we can't wait for it. Can't wait to hear the call. Enjoy it. It's always a great one, and it feels like it's one of the most special times for a Bears-Packers game.
You got it. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.
There he is, Wayne Larrabee, joining us here on No BS on the Game. And our conversation with Wayne Larrabee brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, bet above the rest. Discount liquor, family owned and operated since 1960 in Milwaukee and downtown Waukesha and Wisconsin. Concrete coatings built in Wisconsin, built to last.
See, Billy, I knew it would hurt Wayne the most thinking again about Arlington. Because I know how upset he must have been when they took down that beautiful horse track. I mean,
it was a
that
great
beautiful
track,
horse. I'm sure Wayne would love that place. So if he's like, if you were going to do that, you better put the stadium there now. Like, you don't ruin a beautiful racetrack.
Man, what a botch by me not bringing up. Did you see the Grinch against Santa at Saratoga?
You know what? I didn't, but that's brilliant.
If anybody saw it, it would have been Wayne.
Send me a video. We got to send it to Wayne.
The Grinch not only stole Christmas, beat Santa at Saratoga. That's a December to remember.
Did Larry Comas call that race? I loved it. He's the best horse caller.
It was a Larry Comas in training, and he's got a lot of training to be able to get there at Saratoga.
I need the video.
I got the video for you. You can hear it as well. 877-794-1973. As Chicago looks to avenge their loss at Lambeau Field from last week, everybody on the Four Letter Network's Get Up program, Harry Douglas, Bart Scott, Peter Schrager, Joe Fortenbaugh, every single one of them clean sweep with Chicago backs against the wall for Big Brother rolling down to Chicago. Let's see how the boys in green and gold somehow break the hearts of Bears fans once again. Got more on it coming up. It's No BS on the Game.
miss an hour of No BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. After a tough loss in Denver on many fronts, Green Bay will try to bounce back against Chicago on Saturday night.
We feel like we're very capable, but, we just got to all work together and kind of roll up our sleeves and take this challenge on. And what an opportunity for other guys to get an op to go out there and perform. And so there's a lot of excitement around that as well.
Stay with us all week as we get you ready for Packers Bears here on The Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Elton John songs that you've thumbed up.
Number 3.
Tiny Dancer.
Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Count the headlights on the highway. Lay me down and she's so blending.
Number 2.
Rocket Man.
I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man, burning out the fuse out every home.
Number 1.
Benny and the Jets.
She's got electric boots, I'm more have food, you know I'm better than a magazine. No, Benny and the Jets.
Hear more from Elton John and similar artists now.
Search for Elton John on iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music,
All your favorite stations.
all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
In January of 1967, Los Angeles band The Doors released their debut album, which eventually goes to number 2, and features the single Light My Fire, which goes to number 1 in July. The Rolling Stones released Ruby Tuesday, an ode to a groupie written by Keith Richards. The song takes them to number 1 in the U.S. in March. And San Francisco band The Jefferson Airplane released the surrealistic Pillow album, scoring 2 top 10 hits with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Would you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
In March of 67, Buffalo Springfield re-releases their debut album to include the hit single For What It's Worth. In April of 67, Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group goes to number 7 in the U.S., with vocals by 17-year-old Steve Winwood. And in May, Elvis Presley marries his 21-year-old girlfriend Priscilla in Las Vegas. In May, Mitch Ryder hits number 4 with Devil with a Blue Dress, Good Golly Miss Molly. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience released their debut in the UK. In July, they toured the U.S. as the opening act for the Monkees in support of the U.S. album release.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. Don't you listen to what the man said. He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
Come on with me, dance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975, coming up.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot.
Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Turn it inside out so I can see the part of you that's drifting over me. And when I wake, you're never there. And when I sleep, you're everywhere. You're everywhere.
Now that would be like what happens when a dream turns to a nightmare. Marty, listen, I remember John Gruden walking into the Badgers football office and say, people are all about dreams this time of year. I'm about nightmares, man. I want to talk about your nightmares, man. Now, I would like to know what the nightmare scenario for those going to Soldier Field tomorrow night wearing blue and orange would potentially be.
I got ideas.
It would include 30-14 advantage for the road team in the fourth quarter. Just dreaming like, hey, we just watched Seattle come back in their own park. It could happen.
Caleb's throwing his third interception.
And then all of a sudden, dropping into coverage is always hustling Carl Brooks.
Come on now.
To deliver a dagger and run one back BJ Raji style and starts dancing in the north end zone of Soldier Field. Now, that would be a nightmare scenario. That would be the situation that would potentially end a lot of dreams there in the Chicago area. Did you just get a little too... Uh-oh.
What's that?
There he is.
Uh-oh, is that Tyson?
What are you looking for here?
Is that Tyson Bagent warming up? Tyson's warming up. Caleb's in the tent.
Oh, we don't want the tent. No one said the tent.
Tyson's warming up. No, I'm not asking for it to happen. I'm just saying, like,
it could happen.
They're like, you know what? This is the time to bring in, remember Frank Reich?
Yeah.
Tyson's warming up. Paid him all that money.
They did sign
to be
him
a backup.
To an extension. Hey, listen, Caleb's just doesn't seem to have it tonight. They're frustrating him with this rush. They're getting pressure from all over the place. Xavier McKinney has come on like 3 blitzes from the slot, knocked one out, forced fumble by Lucas Van Ness, the Illinois guy.
Rashawn Gary, 3rd sack.
Jaden Reed, after sadly having to be in the Illinois area for a funeral within the last week and a half. Somebody that's very, very important to his life. Jeff Thorne, incredible Division III football coach at North Central. Very, very prominent football coach, passes away. Very instrumental in Jaden Reed's upbringing. Jaden Reed, I don't know, goes off for 2 touchdowns. Inspired by Coach Thorne and the motivation that he has right there. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could be working against those folks in blue and orange.
Starting to question things. It only takes one game to either get your spirits up or your spirits down and start quit. It's amazing how a fan base's mood can change based on the last game.
Very quickly, something
really
can happen.
can.
Now, I do believe that what Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, outlined for us in the previous segment is pretty spot on. You are going to see a plan of attack for Chicago that's very reminiscent of what you watched in the final 30 minutes at Lambeau Field. Now, will the success be the same? That I cannot promise you, because they're wildly successful running the ball right at Green Bay in the final moments in the last half of that game. The Packers also could not possess the football while they were scoring in 4 plays. They were not giving their defense much of a blow and much of an opportunity to catch its collective breath at one particular point there. I do believe you see a much, much more aggressive version of what Jeff Hafley's had schemed up and did implement quite a bit in 2024 here in 2025. Because again, this is a defense that, while the Bowser in the 1 jersey is no longer going to be running out of the tunnel with you.
Yeah.
Still relatively constructed the same way that the defense he planned on having all year long is.
That's a great point,
and
Billy.
all offseason long, and the one that you coached to a pretty close to a top 10 level a year ago.
And that you won 11 games with.
And you won 11 games with.
And
you won
12.
a decent amount of games because of towards the back half of the year last year.
I agree. And you won a lot in the back half. And let's be honest, Billy, a team that was taking advantage of takeaway opportunities last year. Now, if those opportunities come up again this week, as they did last week, I like to think that the primary suspects, Xavier McKinney and those guys, are going to squeeze the ball this week because I believe in those guys, especially Xavier McKinney. I don't know why he's having trouble holding on to some of them, but I do believe sometimes those things just happen. If you get those same type of opportunities, which you normally don't from Caleb Williams, if you do get those, Packers, I think, are going to have to take advantage of those this week. That's going to be a very important factor in this game.
We can't explain the dropped potential interceptions from Xavier McKinney. Could Xavier McKinney explain it at his locker yesterday? We find out here, but also Xavier McKinney as one of those suspects as to why the defense performed as well as it did a year ago under Jeff Hafley. He was a big reason why. Does that help you in this preparation? Is there belief in a different level of belief because you've had to play defense without Micah Parsons before, and you've done so pretty well, Xavier McKinney?
I mean, I think we've built that chemistry with each other. Obviously, the majority of the guys, with him not being here, like on the field with us now, the majority of guys that are here now was here last year. So we have that chemistry already built up. We already had a top 5 defense. So like I said before, like we lost a great player and a very impactful player for our team and our defense. But at the same time, we got really good players as well. We got good depth. And we got guys that were already here that are also really good. So that's how I see that.
You mentioned the top 5 defense without him. What did you do so well last year that carries over to now?
Like as far as what?
You guys were successful, so I assume you're going to be successful again. What connects the two, do you think?
Same players. The majority of the same. Like I think we might have lost like a couple guys. But I mean, it's the same. It's really the same group of guys. Like the core guys, if you think about it, it's the same group of guys. So that's how I think it carries over. It's the same people. It's not like it's a whole different personnel or different people. It's all the same people. So
on Sunday, you talked about how you might expect quarterbacks to hold the ball a little longer without Micah on the prowl. How do you make sure that when that's the case, that it ends up being good for your defense and that you maximize opportunities that come your way?
Well, I think the guys up front probably got something to say about that more than me, because I think that if teams are going to take that approach of okay, now we have a little bit more time, then I mean that's on them. That's how they feel. But I think that the pass rushers that we have are elite, and I think they can get to the quarterback fast. So if they decide not to, have the chippers and, do those little things, then I think our guys, that we have are very eager to and ready to go and ready to prove, all the doubt is wrong.
I know you probably haven't done it in the past. What do you think is the most difficult thing about playing a team twice in 13 days or whatever it is?
I mean, it's difficult to play a team twice in the regular season in general. Or really just in general, really. But playing them twice in that short of a span can definitely be more difficult and challenging because obviously, like you said, like we've seen each other not too long ago. So we know kind of and we're already division opponents, so we know each other's tendencies. And we're just going to have to get creative. I think both sides are going to have to get creative. We're going to have to be more creative. And I'm sure they're going to be a little bit more creative too. So you got to kind of be ready for the unknowns. And that's kind of another challenge of it is like you don't want to go into the game thinking that, okay, we saw them a week ago. They're going to do the same thing. Nah, that ain't necessarily true. They might have some things that are the same, but they're going to have some new things as well that we're going to have to be, I'm not going to say prepared for, but we're going to have to have disciplined eyes and understand we got to trust our technique and whatever's being called.
It's almost like you got to block out that you just played it.
For sure. You cannot just go into the game thinking, they're going to do exactly the same things that they did the other week. I don't think it's going to work like that. And I think, they have smart enough coaches and smart enough players in the team to understand that, they can't just go in with the same mindset. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, it probably will be the same, but they're going to have a few here and there that, they might pull from different games that they've seen us play or different things that they've been wanting to run that they want to pull out. So I think, all things are on the table when it comes to this game.
You mentioned creativity. I remember talking to Andrew in the middle of August, and he was pretty bullish about what the blitz scheme could look like with him, with Quay.
Mhm.
Then you get Micah, and you rush for 4 because that's what you do when you have Micah Parsons.
Mhm.
How hard is it after spending an entire season rushing one way, playing defense one way, to go back to what you had originally planned to do in Week 16? Is it late in the season to make any wholesale changes? You kind of have to go with what you're doing, or do you have time to change the scheme to that level?
I think you got time to change the scheme. When you got smart guys in the room and guys that have been in the system, like I said, it's not like these guys are different guys coming from different areas or being under a different scheme. Like, they already played in the scheme, so everybody already understands how we're going to rush the passer and kind of draw up different things, and we know what half wants to do, how he wants to do it. So I don't necessarily think that you have to stick to one way. You could change things up because we have the guys to be able to do it, and they know, these guys know football. So I think at the end of the day, we got smart guys and we got guys that can rush the passer. It's not just one guy that can rush the passer. So
very difficult part, Xavier McKinney there at his locker yesterday and the last question there from Ryan Wood asking, can you be able to be very malleable? Can you all of a sudden flip the way that you're rushing the passer on a dime and schematically change something that's that wholesale? They're not changing the whole scheme. They might be calling some different variations of packages and blitz packages, but I do believe, and he mentioned 56 in particular, watch out for Edgerrin Cooper coming up this week. If anybody was making it rather known how much and how excited he was to get after the quarterback here in 2025, seemed like 56 had some plans, and they had some plans to get Coop, the Cowboy, into the backfield and being able to corral, maybe lasso Caleb Williams this weekend.
I like that.
Listen, come on. You can't put the saddle on that Mustang anymore. You got to let him rip. And I anticipate a special Edgerrin Cooper game coming up tomorrow night at Soldier Field as the Packers try to make the trip through the playoffs, which seems like these two teams might be playing 3 times.
That's the thing. That's the thing about this. We talk about how important this game is, how it's going to be one of the most important Packers-Bears games. They might have one on the horizon again coming up in the playoffs that we're talking about playing 3 times this year. That is a great point, Billy. It's absolutely possible.
And it became even more likely last night. We'll explain why on the other side. Packers and Bears, the second trip might be the sandwich meeting between the two oldest rivals in the National Football League. That's Armen Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt, stuck in the middle of us with another hour still to play. We're with you till 10 o'clock. It's No BS on the Game.
More and more I miss her, what will I learn? Didn't give her all my love, I guess now I got my payback. Now I'm in the club thinking all about my baby. Hey, she was so easy to love, but wait, I guess that love wasn't enough. I'm going through
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
Well, they say all good things come to an end. After taking an early lead in their national semifinal volleyball match against Kentucky, the Badgers lose in 5 sets, ending their season. Kentucky goes on to play Texas A&M Sunday in the national championship match. Badgers basketball tonight in Milwaukee against Villanova. Tip-off is set for 7. The Packers, meanwhile, will head to Chicago later today ahead of tomorrow night's rematch against the Bears. Kickoff tomorrow night at Soldier Field is set for 7:20. And Week 16 in the NFL kicked off with a barn burner in Seattle last night. The Seahawks outlast the Rams in overtime 38-37. Seattle, for now, at 12-3, the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. And from the NBA, the Bucks' struggles continue. They fall to the Raptors 111-105. Bobby Portis with a double-double. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
The top spot in the NFC North is on the line once again. This time it's in the Windy City as the Packers go on the road to face the Bears.
It's a chess match. That's kind of how it is when these games are this close.
And it also comes down to the players, man, who wanted more. So we're going to see who wanted more. I think the biggest thing for us as offense is just doing it more consistently. Stops having so many, splash plays here and there. Have a week where we almost go perfect in the red zone, and then a week like last week where we didn't convert as much as we wanted to in the red zone. I think it's just about being more consistent as offense and, our playmakers coming up, showing up every week.
Billy and Armen are previewing every angle of the rivalry all morning on The Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top John Mellencamp songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Hurt So Good.
Hurt so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should, baby. Hurt so good.
Number 2, Small Town.
No, I cannot forget from where it is that I come from. I cannot forget the people who love me. Yeah, I can be myself here in this small town. And people let me be just what I want to be.
Number 1, Jack and Diane.
Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. To walk on.
Hear more from John Mellencamp and similar artists now. Search for John Mellencamp on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
The Doors released their 6th and final studio album, LA Woman, while Paul McCartney releases his 2nd solo album, Ram, which goes to number 1 UK and number 2 US. The album includes several jibes at John Lennon and the number 1 single, Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey. In May of 71, soul singer Marvin Gaye releases his concept album What's Going On and has 3 top 10 singles. And Rod Stewart's 3rd solo album goes number 1 and has a number 1 single, Maggie May.
Maggie, I wish I'd never seen your face.
In July of 71, The Who releases Who's Next that tops the charts in the UK and goes to number 4 in the US.
Teenage wasteland, oh yeah. Teenage wasteland. They're all wasted.
The Allman Brothers released their breakthrough live double album at Fillmore East. And in August, the concert for Bangladesh, organized by George Harrison and Ravi Shankar, is held in New York City. In addition to the organizers, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, Badfinger, Leon Russell, and Billy Preston appear.
Feel my guitar gently weep.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Peter Gabriel to discuss why it's been beneficial for him to follow his own path.
If you went for the things that you believed in, you'd probably be with people that you enjoyed the company of, and it would be an interesting journey. So I think I've sort of followed that as much as I could, and now I think I have a life which is part music, part technology, and part benefit projects, and I meet all sorts of amazing people from very different backgrounds, and some of these projects come to fruition, so it's very satisfying.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Peter Gabriel and all your favorite artists.
She take my money when I'm in need. Yes, it's a trifling friend indeed. Oh, she's a gold digger way over town that digs on me.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger.
Golden Eagles unable to dig up any gold last night, or 2 nights ago, as they lose to Georgetown. Our friend Armen Sarian licking his wounds with the Golden Eagles. However, sadly, not a golden trophy for the women's volleyball team at University of Wisconsin. Kelly Sheffield's girls battled last night in a incredible 5-set match against Kentucky. that was as good as it could have been. Now, listen, the result, obviously flip it around.
Obviously.
But, I mean, that competition is about as good as it can get. Last night, that was in the Final Four.
Amazing high-level volleyball. A growing sport, as we've mentioned, Billy. Growing TV sport. And Kentucky's defense last night late was just incredible. The block they were putting up everywhere Wisconsin was trying to go. It's really hard to beat a block like that. And that's where you try and in volleyball, you're trying to keep the front line off balance with slides and twists and things like that to create one-on-ones. Give Kentucky credit. They played great. Wisconsin played great as well. Unfortunately, someone has to fall. You're talking about a 5-set match in volleyball, race to 15, Billy. I don't want to call it a coin flip, but you're talking about a very small situation and, overtime situation.
You get up quickly, it's over. It felt like.
It's just a crazy situation, amazing competition. It's the Final Four. Unfortunately, 2 steps away, Wisconsin so close to getting to the national final. Just couldn't get it done last night. But another amazing season by Kelly Sheffield and his team. And one of the great programs in the nation in terms of women's volleyball. Wisconsin proved it again this year.
Pretty incredible run. I mean, listen, 3 seeds can make it, but it's not like it's commonplace necessarily for that run to be made, especially when you're playing in home environments. One thing that I wish the college football playoff would adopt from the volleyball playoffs in the tournament, because those home sites were so electric. That Austin arena and building was phenomenal. Games at the Fieldhouse are next level. Now, was it an awesome atmosphere for those that were in Kansas City and us watching last night? No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Will it be fun watching the college football games that are in neutral sites? Sure. But like the quarterfinal matchup being on New Year's Eve at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, nah, man, throw that thing in Ohio Stadium or throw that thing in Georgia at Sanford Stadium and give more back to the universities, back to the schools that are competing and winning, because I think, one, it adds in more financial solvency. It helps out the schools in particular more. It doesn't necessarily just load up the money into the pockets of the bowls, but like those home environments, it adds in also, I think, Armen, such a competitive advantage and reemphasizes why you want those spots.
Yeah.
The more games you get at home, just like the Packers and everybody in the NFC are trying to figure out how on earth can we get more games at home.
Sure.
You see how important it is. And like that is, I think in college sports, maybe more than in the pros, but in football, you saw it last night, stadiums and environments matter.
There's no question. And I think the level of enjoyment for a viewer probably matters when you see a home environment like that. It's a much more intense crowd. Not to see like, the Bahamas Popeyes crowd. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously that's true. And I would think maybe as we matriculate more into the playoff world in football, sometimes it takes a while for these to change. We seem to be change every year. The process gets changed. That might be something we see more of, Billy. I would predict maybe that's a thing down the road. Don't know if we're going to expand the playoff again. It seems like something's always going to be changing here. If Matt Miller had his way, it seems like something always is going to be changing here. But we do kick things off tonight, I should say, with the first round of the college football playoff, Alabama and Oklahoma. Should be a really good one, Billy. 2 strong teams, 2, obviously touchstone programs, blue blood programs. So this is why we have the playoff, right? For these exciting games this time of the year, and we're going to be getting it tonight. So we're going to feast on that.
We're going to get it tonight, get it tomorrow around 11 a.m. kick, 11:15, Texas A&M, Miami. Might be one of the better games that you watch in the college football season this year.
Would agree. Yeah.
I really hope I'm wrong about the other 2 games, but then once we get the group of 5s out, you're going to get into some more incredibly close and compelling games. But also, let's not fool ourselves here. Like the NFL playoffs on Wild Card Weekend, even though it's Super Wild Card Weekend,
Super
Wild Card Weekend.
Yes,
some of those games are far from super duper.
Sometimes, sure.
So I believe last year the average point differential was 17 in the games on Wild Card Weekend. So like you don't always, it comes and goes. 40% of the teams in the NFL make the playoffs, right? So like you're not always going to have great games. You can't predict all this stuff. Just enjoy them when they happen. Like last night was as good as football gets between the Rams and Seahawks.
And sometimes that's what you get when you expand playoffs, that you're going to have some duds. Not every game's going to be perfect. you can't get everything you want in football. There's no utopia when we're talking about live sports.
And all the
unless it's
sports
totally
in Major
scripted.
League Baseball as well.
Every sport. I'm sorry, every sport. Yeah, you're not always going to get a 15-2 upset. That's just the way it is watching sports. They're not all going to be great. Last night was great. That was not always the case for Thursday Night Football.
That's for sure.
It comes and goes. You have to take what you get and enjoy it. So
wanted to shout our friend Jake in Belgium out at 877-794-1973. Said, also, guys, I watched you guys on YouTube in the hospital last week while my wife was in labor with our first. I'm dedicated.
That's dedication,
Let's
Jake.
go, Jake.
Now,
Congratulations to you and yours.
We don't condone that. I don't want you to get in trouble, but we do appreciate the dedication.
I disagree. I absolutely.
I
absolutely.
Okay.
You should absolutely be listening to No BS, even if your wife is in labor. You need to be able to track the timeline on the contractions, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to. We can help you out with the timing, right? Like, so if she has one right now, and by the time we're back, that's 6 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Back after that.
Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS will be back in just a moment. Micah Parsons is out for the season. We're talking about what's next for the Pack with the best analysis and the best guests.
The great Wayne Larrabee joining us here on DND. How important then does become Rashawn Gary? How much pressure is on 52? Because when you had, and he hasn't had a sack in a number of weeks, but early in the season when you had one coming from one side, Van Ness going through the guards, and then number 52 on the other side, I mean, everybody was eating. Now you got one on the shelf. Number 90, Van Ness, we'll see what happens as he tries to come back more fully. But how much pressure do you see on Rashawn Gary now that Parsons is out?
I think he stood up in the locker room after the game in Denver and said that, he feels a lot of responsibility. He feels he's pressuring himself to be better. And if I'm not mistaken, since he had 2 sacks at Pittsburgh, he hasn't had a sack.
Yeah.
They need him to be a force. They really do. Is he capable of it? Well, we'll see. Time will tell. But I think he's got to be a big player in this. Van Ness gets an opportunity to step up. And hopefully he's healthy enough now where he can do that. You guys mentioned Brenton Cox. If they bring him off IR, he's another live body in there. So, yeah, they're going to have to do some of this stuff. And they're also playing without Devontae Wyatt in the middle. Their defensive front, without Devontae Wyatt and Mike Parsons, is compromised. There's no question about that. We'd be stupid not to say that. But by the same token, you expect these other guys now who are drafted in the first round, like Van Ness and Gary, to pick up the slack. This is their opportunity. Injury to one is an opportunity for another in the NFL.
Your home for the best Packers coverage. The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of 67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. Don't you listen to what the man said. He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' fourth album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
Come on with me, chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975 coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to discuss the difficulties of putting a record together, particularly the Reckless album.
If you knew what Reckless took to make, you wouldn't think that, it just sounds like we went in an afternoon and recorded a record, because I told over that record for 6 months, I mean, it was one of the hardest things I ever did. I was completely wiped out afterwards, because I fought every step of the way with everybody about it. And even though I had a good team, there was a lot of struggles. But I come to terms with the fact that if you want something bad enough, you got to fight for it. And so that's what I do now. I just I put together a good entourage of guys and go in there and just get in the scrum, man.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game.
Come here, rude boy, can you get it up? Come here, rude boy, is you big enough? Take it, yeah, baby, yeah, take it, yeah. Come here, rude boy, can you get it up? Come here, rude boy, is you big enough?
All right, no BS on the game. It's Packers, it's Bears, Soldier Field, Saturday night. We had our friend Nick in Sauk Prairie. He said, man, tough loss last night for the Badger ladies. Frustrating in that 4th and 5th set. It seemed like Kentucky dug every single blaster kill that we had. Right. We got the best setter on the planet, and team mostly freshmen and sophomores. They'll be back again next year. Unbelievable match, and our Lady Badgers and Kelly Sheffield and staff have more Final Fours and natties to come. Plus, the Bears will the bed this weekend at Soldier Field. That's what we like to hear. Nick
She was great text, Nick. She was setting the table too. That's high-level volleyball last night.
Now, I will say,
unprotected.
I don't understand enough of the schematics of it. But once you start watching long enough, the 5 sets. But like you start seeing how they're trying to potentially confuse, throw a little bit of misdirection in. But when she's just dicing it up, tossing that bad boy wherever and however you have to be, the setter gets incredible love for being able to just, as a great point guard does, be able to assist you with some of the beautiful kills they were firing.
It's the most important. It's the most important position in volleyball, because you can obviously have great athletic pin hitters and middle blockers and all those things,
but they don't get the credit necessarily that the rest do. Correct?
If the ball, obviously, if you had a big spike at the start, it's like a slam dunk. But if you put the ball in where it's supposed to be, in theory, they're just picking it off the tree. So. A really good setter, and that's a very difficult position because you have to have incredible feet, incredible hands, and you're also playing chess with the defense a lot because you want to be able to hold the defense as long as possible and pop that thing up. Also, Billy, you know what? There's a lot of different types of sets. Do you want to shoot? Do you want it real high? It's all timing. So there's a lot going on with that position. She did a great job. The Badgers played great. It's just the way it goes. It's a high level competition. Somebody has to lose. It was a shame that last night it was the red and white.
My volleyball acumen comes to, I didn't play in high school like Harmon did. My volleyball acumen comes to beach and backyard.
That's fun stuff right there.
And it would always be setter position because your boy wasn't going to elevate very much.
That's all right.
I'm jumping over possibly one phone book.
You're the Chris Middleton of the volleyball court.
Someone probably go more like Joe Johnson back in the day. I don't know that he ever left the floor.
No, but he was effective.
Effective, correct. And just be able to place the ball wherever I needed to. I love being able to watch it last night. Congratulations to them on an incredible season. And again, as you start to watch more and more, Kelly Sheffield was in his bag last night.
Oh, great. He did a great job.
He really
He's a great
was
coach.
having a phenomenal night, and they were just a 1 to 2 points short to being able to close that thing out in an earlier fashion instead of having it go to the decisive fifth set. But hell of an effort, and congratulations on a great season. And yes, with the youth on that team, and let's be honest, who doesn't want to come play volleyball at Wisconsin?
You're talking about
if you're going to start talking
now.
about being able to move around a little bit in the portal world.
Yep. This is it.
Come over here to the field house and have your chance to go to Final Four, win some national championships.
And you're talking about a blue blood program now, and I think it's a sport that's going to continue to grow, Billy, in popularity and in organization, leagues, and stuff. Jordan Love's wife plays pro volleyball, or did. I don't know if she still is. I think she still is. So that's going to continue to grow. There's no question.
I am
about it.
steadfast in my belief that when these networks are looking for more and more places to watch and more
things that put on
for inventory, you can't tell me that you can't sell those games being on. That will get serious viewership. And it's also like when you start putting money where the children's attention span are going. There's a reason why volleyball is one of the most fastest growing sports in terms of participation. No doubt about it. It's awesome. It was phenomenal to watch, and congratulations to the ladies on a great season, just one game short. And listen, the A&M was nervous. A&M's lucky. They know that they're lucky. They were going to start the midnight yell tonight
They were going to have the
for
yell.
Sunday's national championship because of realizing that the Badgers were coming.
The yell leaders.
Our friend Jake did say that he was his wife was in the hospital through labor and threw us up on YouTube. Our friend Michael Lacrosse said, listen, guys, I know it's going to be hard to beat the my wife in labor listening to you guys text, but you came in loud and clear through the iHeartRadio app in Vietnam and China.
That's what I'm talking about. Worldwide. Call us Mr. Worldwide.
I was there a month ago.
He's flying all over the place. Yeah.
Said I was there a month ago. You guys came in perfectly there. Was in Argentina 3 months ago. Same deal. Nice to listen and drink beer instead of coffee.
Yeah, I like that. There are some listeners drinking beer during our show, Billy, and not just the ones that get off at midnight that work the third shifters.
Yeah, not only the ones going to Kips in to enjoy the nightcap.
That's a great spot. But Butch almost hit his head on the ceiling there at Kips in. That's a great spot. Well, Butch is a tall guy. He's walking through the door.
I have heard that before.
Yeah, he's walking through the door and he had to duck, man. But he's used to that. He's used to that.
Butchie in Milwaukee this week today.
He better call me, and this time I'll pick up. He called me the other day and I didn't pick up, and I'm sorry. Butch hates when I do the whole I meant to call you back. No, you don't mean to call someone, Armen. You call him. You don't mean to call. Come on, bro. You know where I'm at. I'm at Fiserv eating popcorn. Let's go. So there you go.
So if he gives you a call, you will pick up today.
Unless I'm busy.
Oh, okay.
Hey, by the way, can we peek behind the curtain a little bit? I want everyone to know out there, whatever's going on with the coffee machine, it wasn't us, all right? I didn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Billy
some
didn't do
serious
it.
issues going
We're
on.
We're fighting through it with this coffee machine back there.
Let's
Billy.
be honest. The issues we've encountered in this building over the last week and a half, the coffee pot's the least of the issues. But it's causing some grave concern in that break room.
Because you know how it is in radio. We need coffee, and we need the free coffee that's provided right here. And if that coffee machine's not working, but listen, that's why there's going to be eyes out.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't us. Let's go.
And also, you can't say it wasn't me that didn't help.
Yeah, and
saw that bad boy overflowing, dumped a little bit of it out. There might have been one that still seems to be working, dripping out, and whether it's coffee, water, what have you.
There's something wrong with it.
Slid another pot in there. I felt like I did my 111.
And then
did I clean it all up?
No, but did you put that
back on air?
Put the little sign up there that said "Do not pour water in the top"? That wasn't us.
Wasn't me.
And I don't think anyone's doing it. I think it's an issue with the machine at this point. I think everyone knows at this point not to pour water on the top of the machine, Billy. And that's my take on it. Let's get this thing figured out.
Well, let's figure those things out. Now, I would say the one individual named Bill Schmidt definitely did put water in the top of it at one
point in time. Yeah.
The first time I did it,
Yeah.
and I messed that thing up as badly as possible. Got roundhoused and made fun of. And then it was much better. Then I realized that that's not how you're supposed to do it. And it ended up being a lot better situation. So we've had a ton of talk and text line messages. We've also had so many here on the YouTube comments that we have not been able to get to. It's a large portion because I'm not reaching all the way over here and I've been messing it up. All right. So Starlev, let's go through a number of these Packers conversations that we have. Who said in Texas, we listen to the game on the Packers network. And even if it's on TV, we pause it to match up the radio TV, get it ready so we can hear. there is your dagger. He also said, is it more personal this time for Matt LaFleur? He's been keeping stuff close to the vest on practices and teams from the media, like he wants Chicago confused and not waiting and knowing what's happening. Now, I do believe there's something to the mysterious nature as to why the Packers and how the Packers are doing a little bit of gamesmanship with everybody being questionable.
Sure.
I also think that there's some genuine unknowns. Like, I believe Evan Williams is going to do anything and everything he can to be able to play coming up tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
Do I think his body is screaming at him not to? Yes. Like, do I anticipate most of the medical experts are probably not excited about having to tell him, hey, man, it looks like it might be one more week. Maybe. I don't know. I do believe there's a lot of question, like Zach Tom. You're going to give him every opportunity to play. And if he believes after going out there during warmups and running through maybe some kind of workout and rehab work that he's going to be able to give it a go, then I think he goes. But I think they're truly up in the air. Certain guys like Christian Watson, Josh Jacobs, yeah, you know he's going. Unless something grave would happen in the next, 30 hours or so, those guys are going to play.
Yeah.
With the rules and stuff in the NFL, you absolutely have to go and throw something out there. If there was any chance that Burden or Odunze could go, I think the Bears would have tried to do some gamesmanship. I think it's pretty clear that neither of those guys were going to be able to go, and Rome Odunze might be done for the year, and from what it sounds like with his foot injury, because he re-aggravated it during warmups last week.
Yeah, I think there's multiple truths as well. I think the one thing can be true is that he wants to keep stuff close to his vest. Matt LaFleur 100% will want to do that all the time. I don't think it's more personal than another time. I think it's always
all
personal.
Coaches want to as well.
I think it's all coaches.
And
I also think it's very possible he just doesn't know yet. I think a lot of people don't know until those boys wake up tomorrow morning. That's just the way it goes a lot of times, how they're going to be feeling and how the medical is going to be dealing with, because he lets the medical take care of it. So I think all those things are true.
How about 715? It's not just Rashawn Gary, but Lucas Van Ness also has to. It's his time to shine, and he needs to show up. I'll say this about Lucas Van Ness. He was having a very good training camp.
He was. He was playing fine.
He was fine. He was, I would almost say better than fine, right? Like, I just want to, he was making a play seemingly a day that you recognized and saw 90 on the field. And whether or not the injury that really hindered him from being able to do this at the end of the year to this level, I think they were patient enough because they had Parsons and weren't going to get him a ton of snaps, right? With the injury, for him to work himself through, felt like he was going to come back maybe a little bit earlier, didn't necessarily respond the best way, but him not being forced onto the field out of necessity, I think is probably the best thing for the Packers and Van Ness at this point, because he can be as close to 100% at this point of the season. Nobody else really is, and hard to say anybody will be, but you can be as close to it because they were able to be patient with him. Now, nobody needs to tell Lucas Van Ness that this is his time to shine more. Like, he understands all that is riding on these next few games for Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah.
Not only because of the Packers' playoff opportunity and impending, playoff run, but this is his career that he's looking and staring right down the barrel of.
Absolutely.
And knowing all and all the opportunities, whether it's in Green Bay or elsewhere, that he can have for himself if he puts legit stuff on tape and has himself 5 games that the rest of the NFL goes, that's a first round pick finally figuring it out.
Yeah, it's got to show something that you can be in this league, extend yourself, extend your career, get a second contract, because you have to show something to make teams want to pay you whatever that is. And it would behoove him to do that. So I would think you're going to get his best effort. I'll tell you that much. I'm sure he's been licking his chops, getting ready to play. I'm sure it's frustrating to have an injury when you think you are going to have your best part of your career. Now, you said earlier, best, Billy. I don't think any one guy is going to replace number one, and that can't be the case. You can't just walk in and say, go be Micah Parsons. You have to be yourself. So I think you try and replace the pressure in the aggregate, and you want guys to play the best game they can, but not try and do too much. Rashawn Gary's part of that. He talked about, is there a pressure to try and do more than you can?
I just got to be myself. When guys thinking that they need to do more than what they've been doing, you start to strain, start to try to find plays that's not there. And throughout the season, man, I've been doing a great job of being effective, being myself. And I know I keep playing at a high level, keep playing how I'm playing. The plays are going to come, and it's going to be right what the team needs.
I get that. And that's a totally totally good approach. But I would say it's okay if you strain a little bit and try and do. I mean, we need a little bit. Now, hopefully it does work out, Billy. And yeah, LVN would be a great time for those guys to show up with their best games. A lot of times there is that sort of subconscious when that power guy is gone, when that, when the Bowser's gone, when Fonzie's gone, to say, all right, I'm going to have to do this myself. And there's something inside you for some guys that just brings them to a different level.
We were having some fun on Tuesdays, Carry the G, while you were out with Nags, and people were asking and have been asking Nags, well, it's Colin Oliver time, right? Like, is he going to be able to go? Now, Colin Oliver, I believe 5th or 6th round pick this past offseason. Pass rusher, linebacker, Oklahoma State specialist. I believe he logged 1 practice during training camp, right? Like he has been on the IR, working himself back through the 21-day window. And Nags is like, if we are waiting for Colin Oliver to come through and break glass in case of emergency, I think we're looking in the wrong spot. I do think the interesting one is Brenton Cox coming off of potentially IR.
Good one, yeah.
And his practice window has been opened up, and he's been on the field. And this past week, in the 3 days of practice, one was estimated on Tuesday. He's a full participant. Now, with Parsons already on the IR, they have the corresponding move that they can make. I would think it would be Cox elevated, and that's somebody that's, played football for you and played legit snaps and been rather effective in games. And that would also be a 3rd-year player who's building towards hopefully his best self in the National Football League. It's not unheard of for pass rushers, especially young guys like LVN or a Cox or somebody else, to grow into the rusher they're going to be in year 3. You learn your counters, learn your ways to be able to beat blocks and get off and shed blocks. You just got to be able to see it on the field. And I do believe that a Lucas Van Ness big moment is potentially loading coming up this week. And Brenton Cox has also had some success against the Chicago Bears in his past as well.
Yeah, we don't need any of those guys to be more than they're going to be. Like, you don't need to be Micah Parsons, LVN. You need to be the best version of LVN you can be. It's like Dean Lowry was my favorite guy to think about. Like, Dean Lowry was that guy who kind of grew into that role, Billy.
Sure.
And played his best. So like, if you can affect games in that way, that'd be great. And look, there's going to be plays to be made, I believe, tomorrow night. Let's go make those plays.
Brenton Cox last year at Soldier Field in his first game being active in 2024, a sack, 2 solo tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 quarterback hits. Now that was on like 30% of the snaps. He played at most 45% of the snaps last year, had 4 sacks across, 7 games. So a guy that has been good for you at times, and somebody that you've clearly worked and developed to get to this point. Starlev also said, the way I see McDuffie jet up the middle, you think that he can run down Caleb Williams? ? I think the amount of 3 linebackers on the field, Wayne Larrabee pointed to it during the 8 o'clock hour. They run the most, ton of 13 personnel, some of the most in the NFC. Them being the Chicago Bears with 3 tight ends on the field. What that's doing is asking you to play 3 linebackers, to play a base defense with Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, and Edgerrin Cooper on the field. I think right now that's something that I'm okay with. I'm very much okay that being the case, especially in a game, Armen, where I feel like I'm going to have to stop the run and want to make Williams beat me from the pocket. I'm going to put my best run defenders on the field and limit and do whatever I can to stack the box against Monangai and Swift in that offensive line, because that was the reason why that game was the 4th quarter game that the Bears were hoping it would be at Lambeau Field.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Billy. I'd also say if you're thinking about Caleb Williams, he's a super escapable quarterback. That's the word. His escapability is impressive. He's super mobile. He gets out of pockets based on his own desire. Like, he likes to get out of the pocket. He's looking for ways to break the pocket. He's not trying to stay in it like most guys would rather do. So you almost have to contain him as much as try and get home and sack him. Now, he's one of the toughest guys to get down. So I'm not going to say it's going to be any easier, even if you're doing a good job chasing. He's one of the toughest guys to chase down. But if you can at least keep him in the pocket and keep him uncomfortable and give your D-backs a chance, it would behoove you to do that, because I think he wants to get out of the pocket and sling it in that sense.
You surprised there hasn't been more conversation about our quarterback going into the game?
Yeah, we haven't talked about him. I mean, we have a little. We have.
It's kind of hit. It's kind of just come to me like it feels like Jordan, especially off of a 2 interception game, is understandably so when Micah Parsons' ACL injury is kind of the lead story. Feels like most people are just anticipating Jordan bounces back.
I think so.
Very well.
I think there's a little more what you're going to get from him at this point in his career than maybe Caleb. Maybe that's part of the
Either that
reason.
or the Eeyores are just lying in the weeds waiting to be able to jump on Saturday
They
night.
always are. You know, he's going to have an incompletion. They're going to say, I don't think he's the guy. What are we going to talk about? The same old stuff. However, Billy, I will say this. There was a little bit of that, who's the pressure more on in this game, and there's been a debate about that. I know Jeff Saturday was talking about it on TV, about how the pressure's on Jordan Love. Maybe so because he has the contract, but I think you could make an argument for both in this game. Bears are at home. Caleb Williams has to prove he can take that next step. So, maybe there's a little conversation there. Look, it's Packers Bears. They're going to be this conversation on everybody at some point, so that's just the way it goes.
877-794-1973. Texter said, have you been to Hammond, Indiana? Smells like sewage.
I've driven by it a lot. But
Perfect home for the Bears.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
No, it's very much.
That.
That was also why Champaign-Urbana worked out very, very well. Because if you want to talk about a place that smells like absolute sewage,
yeah,
good Lord. Shout out to texter Matt in Madison who shouted us out and said something to the regards of Kevin Warren. Hey, let's run down Kevin Warren's contributions to the state of Wisconsin. Number one, he left the Big Ten. Number two, he's running the Bears. The gift that keeps on giving.
That's right.
We need Kevin Warren to continue in the prominent roles with the Chicago Bears as long as possible.
And he ran the bike, didn't he?
Partially was a big part of the Vikings. Absolutely, yes.
I know there's another one.
Now, did help them build a stadium. What he's trying to do in Chicago and failing miserably at, but we appreciate him trying and bringing up all of those negative conversations the week of Packers and Bears. And we're inside of 35 hours away. Cannot wait for it. Cannot wait for Packers OT after the game. Cannot wait to come back on the other side and pick a couple of games with Armen Sarian because I got a couple of plays. Got a little bit winning edge, Armen. I was down at the Potawatomi Sportsbook yesterday, hanging out with our friends Luis and Haley and Zach and Austin, the sportsbook manager. Came up with a little winning edge that we might be able to find at the Potawatomi Sportsbook for this weekend. Huge football weekend. It's a football Friday. It's no BS with Billy and Sarian on the game.
This was the ghetto that made me. I put that on my father, trying to hope whatever it takes.
Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game. The top spot in the NFC North is on the line once again. This time it's in the Windy City as the Packers go on the road to face the Bears.
It's a chess match. That's kind of how it is when these games are this close. And it also comes down to the players, man, who wanted more. So we're going to see who wanted more. I think the biggest thing for us as offense is just doing it more consistently. Stops having so many, splash plays here and there. Have a week where, we almost go perfect in the red zone. And then a week like last week where we didn't convert as much as we wanted to in the red zone. I think it's just about being more consistent as an offense. And, our playmakers coming up, showing up every week.
Billy and Armen are previewing every angle of the rivalry all morning on the game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Eagles songs that you thumbed up. Number 3, Life in the Fast Lane.
He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it. Life in the fast lane. Surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane. Everything, all the time.
Number 2, Take It Easy.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels make you crazy. Come on, baby. Don't say maybe.
Number 1, Hotel California.
There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. happy face.
Hear more from the Eagles and similar artists now. Search for the Eagles on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to number 1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits number 3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of 71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 number 1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqualung.
Running down his nose. Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their 3rd number 1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their 2nd number 1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the number 1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Ain't it time we said goodbye?
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the number 1 album in the US and the UK and a number 1 single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a number 1 single and a number 2 album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of 73, Stevie Wonder is back with the number 4 album, Inner Visions. And Florida band Leonard Skinner released their debut album, have a top 20 hit with Freebird and tour opening for The Who.
Won't you fly?
Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and score number 1 hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
Totally do. Party like a rock, party like a rock star, party like a rock, party like a rock star, party like a rock, party like a rock star, party like a rock star. Totally do. I'm on a wedding making mission, but I party like a rock star. I'm flying out 20, looking good in my hot car. You know don't be at my show, rapping with my chain. Trying to rap, I hold my pen, but they won't let my thing go. I do it like I do it.
Sartin. Bringing up some heat right now.
Well, listen,
Shop
you know,
Boys?
listen. I mean, if I'm
Gracious.
if I'm sliding behind the board, you know, I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring in some Shop Boys.
Bringing some
I'm gonna
absolute
bring in some Shop
heat.
Boys, maybe some Jaquan. I did that earlier yesterday.
I'm never going to be upset about that. I'm always going to be celebrating those days.
Who did Cyclone? Who was that one?
I believe
Your
that was
body,
Baby Bash.
Well, guess what? Maybe that's next.
I believe that was Baby
I
Bash.
feel like that's a similar song to this.
This also sounds very much like you're just trying to relive your
Buckheads
prom king night.
No, not even prom king. This is Buckheads.
Oh, okay.
This is years later.
Post college into time that you're partying it up.
Well, back then, it wasn't RWB yet. Wasn't red, white, and blue yet. So
a big old wheel there to be
Yeah.
able to spin and see where you're at. Nothing better. 877-794-1973. Just always dream that you're going to win that big old bottle. You know that it's
I never
some of the
won anything.
nastiest stuff in there.
No, I never wanted anything except a long trip to the bathroom. Like little bathroom lines. There's always a mess in there too. Why'd they have a maitre d'? You know, giving out the napkin, giving out the towels.
Because you just never want to make sure that you're fresh once you get back out there and start partying like a rock star.
That place was a slop fest. You weren't getting any tips from those guys.
Yeah, but you don't know what you were going to find.
I guess that's true. That's a great point. Yeah.
The Beers and Ball Show hit us up, said, what?
What's up?
Bull Armen.
Thank you. I
What a
appreciate
pull
that.
Armen. Shout out
Well, Beers and Balls show. Good luck on the show. We haven't been asked to go on the show yet. I can't believe that.
Way to make it about yourself.
Come on. Well, I'm just saying, Beers and Balls show. Listen to us. I want to listen to you. No, I want to support. A lot of people in our industry aren't, they're trying to find something. So
how do you feel about right now at the MGM Sportsbook, BetMGM?
I don't feel
89% of the Week 16 bets coming in on Bears laying now 1.5.
Well, I'm not surprised. And I'm sure if we asked Justin Arnett down in Potawatomi, it'd be something, well, maybe not similar because obviously the market would change that being in Green Bay, being in Wisconsin. But I'm not surprised most people are leaning Bears in this one based on last week. And you know how bettors are. And I don't want to say square, whatever people use that term, but bettors like to react to what they just saw. Packers didn't play that great, right? Obviously. Didn't play terrible, but they didn't play great in the second half. The Bears did. Packers lost a very big piece. The Bears are, kind of at home. So I get why the energy is going that way. Packers were opening a 2.5-point favorite.
Packers opened a 3-point favorite at a
Yeah.
lot of different institutions. Now it's slowly been bet all the way to the other side. Packers at the Potawatomi Sportsbook catch 1.5. They're even money. So that means you put $20 down, you win $20. So you'd recoup 40 from that sweet teller at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Packers victory there.
I'm surprised the line hasn't moved more, Billy, to be honest.
I am a little bit as well. I think some of it shows with those kind of numbers and that kind of split, which I kind of anticipated you'd see that type of action. It is interesting that it was this slow of a trot down to 1. And I do believe that it probably, again, if you're in line with wanting to take the Packers, I'd wait to go to the Potawatomi Sportsbook until later tomorrow because I think it continues to roll probably in this direction for everything that you just said. The last time out for these two teams, you look at Micah Parsons walking off the field injured, Evan Williams, who's one of the unsung heroes of this defense, out on the exact same play. But then flip it over to how the Packers were able to puncture that Bears defense 11 days ago.
Yeah.
Through the air. With Jordan Love besting Kevin Byard, Wright, even Jalen Johnson a couple of different times. And the weapons on the outside, especially if Christian Watson is ready to go, which it seems like he will be, are still A1. Like I'm very much in, and we just had a texter, Dylan and Madison, ask us. He said, am I the only one that that has a sneakily good suspicion about tomorrow night? And I texted him and I said, I'm actually getting scared by how confident I am.
Oh,
right
you're
now
feeling it. You're feeling it. Billy's there.
Down to
Billy,
Soldier Field and winning tomorrow.
It's 9:31 on a Friday, and Billy's gotten there. Billy, everybody, Billy has finally gotten there. Where at some point every week you get there. Billy.
At some point every single week I get there, and I think gotten to the point where, especially given the fact that the Bears up front are decent against the run. But I mean, look at their overall sack numbers. It's not like they've put incredible pressure on opposing quarterbacks and to the point where if you're going to play against this Green Bay team right now, I think the best way and the only way to be able to fully stop Jordan Love is to get a ton of pressure right in his face. Well, I mean, defensive numbers in terms of sacks and stuff are not that great for the Chicago Bears. What they've done is just take the football away. They've got 21 interceptions.
Great point.
Their turnover differential is insane. We know that. We also then watched the team last night take the ball away 3 times and still find a way to lose a game. So it's not the end all be all. And especially if you're able to keep playing, I think that's the thing that almost is forgotten about towards the end of the game last week. And I almost had to remind myself as well. The Packers had 2 different possessions to go tie the football game with the ball in Jordan Love's hands last week. Now, the way the game and the Avalanche had rolled completely against you, I don't think there was anybody who thought the Packers were going to go down and score a touchdown, let alone get multiple first downs on those 2 final drives.
Right. And it did seem to change a lot when Christian Watson went out and Zach Tom obviously went out.
And as our friend Beers and Balls show on the YouTube comment said, if Kennard has to play right tackle, this is the defensive front he has to do it against. I'm with you. Like, this is Montez Sweat's a good player. You can slow him down.
Okay.
Right? You can lock up in Andrew Billings up front. Now he's a $25 cab ride to run around. He's an absolute behemoth in the interior.
Sure.
But like their front is good, not great. They do their work on defense in the secondary. And I'll take these pass catchers and this depth of the passing game in a climate that doesn't appear to be a massive impact on the game tomorrow night and take my chances.
I do think you also have to acknowledge the fact that the Packers have just had the Bears number, and Jordan Love's in general had their number too. I mean, yeah, he lost last year, but in general, he's played very well against them. And there's an aspect of until you prove it to me, I have to see it, right? I have to see it first. Like, and the Bears still haven't done that yet against the Packers really consistently or in games that matter. And in a game of this magnitude, Caleb hasn't done it yet either. So there's an aspect of that too. It's the old back of the mind. Do they really think they can beat us? Because I heard a lot of moral victory talk coming out of the Chicago last week, 2 weeks ago, when the Bears hung tough against the Packers, lost in the final throw. It was a lot of, I'm not sure we can really, hey, we hung on with them. We prove we're right there. Well, then I have to ask yourself, did you really expect to win, or did you really hope to win? Like, was that your expectation? Do you believe you're going to win this game? And they have still to prove that to me and to themselves, and I think to the public. I think there's a little bit of that as well, Billy, in that sense. So we'll wait and see on that. There might be a little quiet confidence for the Packers going into this one. We can talk our way around. We can talk ourselves into it.
There's a lot of loud confidence on the other side. That's for sure.
A lot of it. I think a lot of Bears fans, they feel like this is their moment. They feel like this is their time. But I've heard that a lot in the last 10 to 15 years, 20 years. And just for the Bears to get stomped by the Green Bay Packers. So let's see what happens in that regard in this one. I think the Bears' superpower is their takeaways on defense. That's their superpower. They've gotten a lot of them. They continue to consistently make it happen. But I still maintain you can't always count on that to happen. And Jordan Love threw the one in their first meeting, which did not end up hurting him, and protected the ball the rest of the game. In that first one, we don't know what happened there. But the Packers can do that. You take away the main superpower of the Bears defense. You protect the ball. You should be able to move it on this team. I think that's what they expect to do again. I know Matt LaFleur, I'm sure, believes he can.
I would assume so as well. No doubt about it. The Packers have averaged 3.1 points per game in the first quarter this year. Only the Commanders and Saints have averaged fewer. The Packers have then averaged over 9 points a game in the fourth quarter. Only the Bills and Lions have averaged more. So as much as we say it's imperative to get up to a fast start and to really make some hay early, this game is going to be a 4-quarter game, despite whatever concerns it might have. And I should say 12 days ago. I keep saying last week.
It felt like it.
It's like, whatever. And Denver game, in a blaze of glory, things happen in the Mile Get High City. All right, whatever. Just harkening back to the last NFC game, because that's the one that matters. I think listening to Wayne and Larry say it going into the fourth quarter, and this is a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, not exactly the game the Packers wanted to be in. I think we talk about being uncomfortable or comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. That's how you got to be able to be, because I believe this is going to be an uncomfortable fourth quarter. However, as long as the road team finds a way to have the ball last, I like the chances. 877-794-1973. Because if it's been a gotta have it drive, Jordan Love has kind of had to have it and has had it.
He's had them most of the year.
Outside of this past week,
right?
He has gotten the Packers in position in the gotta have it drive. Think of in Cleveland. Got to go in the football game. Oh, what? He did the exact thing and got them in position. So see it multiple times. Arizona, another one. Like, he has done it time and time again. I had a lot of trust in 10 being able to do it again one more time down on the north side of Chicago in the downtown area. It's 877-794-1973. Our predictions for Packers and Bears on the other side. I got a winning edge as well for you going into week 16 and into a massive football weekend and fight weekend coming up. No BS on the game.
Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS will be back in just a moment. Packers, Bears, round 2, tomorrow night.
I think it's the same for both teams. You're always trying to find ways to scheme people up, but ultimately we got to go out there and just make sure we do the routine things correctly over and over again, which is hard when you're playing good people. You got really good coaches and really good personnel, and that is a challenge.
You know, we all understand the urgency that needs to be put forward. This is for the North, and I feel like everybody in this locker room understands that. So I don't think we're going to have any, trouble getting up for this one.
I think that we got everything that we need. Obviously it didn't work out for us last week, but I think that that's just the name of the game. They were a really good football team. I think we're, ready to go against anybody. I think we got the right guys on both sides of the ball to accomplish what we want to accomplish. You just got to go out there and execute and, out physical and out compete whoever is against us.
We're getting you ready for the matchup all day on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of '67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to whip me a letter. My baby used to whip me a letter.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first number 1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single.
Everybody says she's looking good. And the lady knows it's understood.
In March of '74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, get a new drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number, and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to number 1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations the Bay City Rollers finally score a hit in the U.S. with the number 1 single Saturday Night.
Saturday
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a number 2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits number 1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you, show me the way every day. I want you, show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a number 12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at the most.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976 coming up.
Wake up in the morning. morning feeling like P. Diddy.
Hey, what up,
Grab
girl?
my glasses, I'm out the door. I'm gonna hit this city.
Let's go.
Before I leave, brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack. Cause when I leave for the night, I ain't coming back. I'm talking pedicure on our toes. Trying on all our clothes. Boys blowing up our phones.
Now I'll blow up this one tonight.
Okay.
I got bad news for anybody that's anticipating you're going to watch a knockout, drag out brawl and a battle and test of wills between Jake Paul and one Anthony Joshua.
Thank goodness. I thought you were talking about Alabama, Oklahoma. I'm like, it better be.
That game's gonna be great.
Better be.
That game's gonna be great.
So yeah, this match tonight, Billy. What do you think about this match?
Well, the interesting thing is, Armen, it appears to be like it appears to be real. Like they're actually going to get in there and dance and fight.
I mean,
because of
real, they're going to try and fight.
Well, because of one deal. Anthony Joshua has nothing to gain by coming out here and just playing games with Jake Paul. You know what? He has everything to lose by not looking like the former world heavyweight champion that he is. And one of the Adonis-built human beings of all time.
I got a question.
If indeed Anthony Joshua is on the short list of individuals if indeed the aliens come and they are not as friendly as I potentially think they might be. And we got to fight the aliens. Anthony Joshua is getting sent right out to the front lines.
So then why, they're having this match, right? And Jake Paul is going to be a punching bag, right? Am I wrong in saying that? It just seems
I'm thinking so and kind of hoping so.
Unless Anthony Joshua doesn't try, which I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, obviously, why would he do that? Jake Paul, obviously they're getting paid for this. But what is the point of doing this unless you want to be a complete gimmick? I don't know. I don't get this. I like boxing, Billy, when I grew up in the 90s, right? It wasn't a total gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it's brings eyes to it and it'll bring curiosity. And I don't know. Do you know where it's airing tonight? Because do I have to watch Mario Lopez for 8 hours again?
It's on Netflix.
Okay. Listen,
it's on Netflix. It might be a long Mario Lopez night.
What am I going to say? I mean, I have been Saved by the Bell before, so I've watched 8 hours of Mario Lopez, but I have to watch him then watch on the set tomorrow. But listen, maybe at 2 a.m. when they actually start this match, or whatever it actually happens. Now, do you have a winning edge on this match? Is that kind of what you're looking at Potawatomi Sports?
Well, I mean, again, this is
it's going to be hot tonight for the fight.
Yeah, this is the thing. I got bad news. This is one of those that's so lopsided. I don't think they take action.
Yeah,
I don't know that anybody's taking action because
Justin's
it could be that ugly and that brutal and frankly that non-competitive.
That's what I mean. Right.
It's also a fight that's going across weight classes. Joshua's unable to show up at a certain heavier than a certain pound mark, but he's gonna be 40 pounds heavier than Jake Paul. He's going to obliterate him.
Yeah, it's the first round of Super Punch Out.
And I will be there for every moment.
You're going to be there. Well, I got to watch it too.
I cannot wait for it.
I got to see what's going on. I'm going to try. The biggest problem is, Oklahoma, Alabama tonight, obviously. We have
Luckily, that game's going to be over.
Badgers playing Villanova.
Both games going to be over.
All right.
You might be able to rewatch both of them.
Right. I might be able to get up in the morning and it'll be airing. Is that what you're saying?
You might be in the middle of a, wait a second, the baby's up? Oh, God. Okay, hold on. Wait. Oh, sweet! It's starting up right now. Awesome.
Yeah, so don't worry. You won't miss Badgers Villanova in Milwaukee tonight for this game, for this boxing match. Is what you're saying?
No,
that game will be long over. Yeah.
Again, I think you could, if you don't want to go to a 2 TV setup, which I think this weekend is really doubling down on needing. It's a potential necessity to have 2 TVs this weekend. This would be the time you could just singularly watch Badgers and Wildcats.
Mm-hmm.
TiVo, just stay off your phone and don't get any updates on the college football playoff game. Watch that entire football game, then probably have one more prelim before this fight starts. But get a coffee because it might be worth it. And then the fight might be very, very short because I think Jake Paul is going to get absolutely dominated. And again, I'm not somebody that I don't really hate Jake Paul like a lot of people do.
No, I don't really hate him. I don't really care.
I don't really hate listen, I don't agree with everything that they've done or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
I will say this, he's one of the better businessmen of the generation.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or hate it.
He finds ways
him and his brother have made more money than I'll ever fathom.
Right.
But there's something rather barbaric, pretty immature. But I show up to a fight to watch somebody get knocked out.
Well, it's what it is. That's
and
what
I
it is.
believe that out of all of these Jake Paul fights that I've been goaded into watching,
this is the one.
And somehow thought that now he's going to fight Ben Askren. And I'm going to watch this guy get dropped.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to see him fight Iron Mike Tyson fresh out of an AARP meeting. Doesn't happen. It's got to happen tonight. And it's got to happen because, as our friend is saying, Anthony Joshua and Brock Lesnar, they're holding the aliens back. Those two dudes are built different. And if you have not seen Anthony Joshua, my man is a specimen. An absolute, chiseled out of marble is what most people would say.
Statue, yeah.
Now, you did ask for the winning edge, Armin. I got a little
Well,
winning
I
edge
didn't know
for
if
you
that was the
potentially
one.
in here.
Yeah, that was the one you had tonight. By the way, really quick, Red Hot Tim, not am I a terrible person for hoping AJ knocks Paul's head clean off his shoulder? No, I'm sure you're not the only one. And Billy said you do watch boxing for that reason. So
we watch a fight to watch somebody get punched in the face.
I get it. Yeah.
And is that wrong? Maybe. But if I'll be wrong 10 times out of 10 if that's going to be the case. And Red Hot Tim, you're not wrong. I'm signing up to be able to see that because Joshua might be able to tee off on this guy at some particular point during this fight. Winning edge,
Billy. Yeah, I'm ready. Now, I'm tailing. Let's go.
Later on at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, you might be able to find this in a pretty sweet video form coming up.
Come on now, Billy is shooting content downtown. I love that. Let's go.
But Jaden Daniels, if you have not been following along, Jaden Daniels has been shut down by the Washington Commanders for the rest of the season. Rightfully so. Probably smartly so.
And they're dogs.
They got no chance.
Yeah, they're big time dogs.
They're catching 6.5. Yeah. It could be 12.5, and I'd still lay the points with the Philadelphia Eagles. I know it's on the road. I know that they have looked suspect at many times throughout the year. They're not playing the Washington or the Las Vegas Raiders. Almost better. They get to play the Commanders without Ertz, without Daniels, without any sliver of hope that good things are coming to the folks in Washington. Now, Terry McLaurin is playing in this game. Maybe that's the trepidation of a possible backdoor cover. I'm not worried about it. Give me the world champion Eagles rolling into the playoffs, laying the 6.5. I've said it to anybody that'll listen. Don't even worry about the college football playoff game tomorrow night. Just take the Ducks, watch the Packers and Bears, and then after the game, you're like, sweet, what happened to I got this money line. Oh, that's because the Oregon Ducks beat James Madison 45-7. As much as I wish these games would be competitive, just don't see it. Don't believe it.
Come on, Billy.
I do not see
heart
it.
For the little guy.
I'm sorry, Dukes. You guys had a phenomenal moment when you won that great Sun Belt title game against Troy. Everybody was watching. Most people are going to watch you get absolutely dominated, not because of what I'm saying about the Dukes. This is more about what Oregon is doing. Oregon was the number 1 overall seed a year ago.
Yeah.
They got pantsed in their first playoff game. And I think they were down 28-0 potentially at one point against Ohio State at the Rose Bowl last year. They have vengeance on their mind. Dan Lanning is a son of a gun, and he will use any bit of motivation to have that team seething at the mouth. Give me the Ducks laying the 21.
21, and you don't have to deal with the hook right now at Potawatomi Sports.
It was 21.5 for a majority of the week, so you're right. Don't even have to worry about the hook. Now, this one yesterday when I was down at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Chargers were catching 2.5. I think the wrong team's favored. They played the Dallas Cowboys. What's wrong with this picture?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right. I mean, it is in Jerry World. I get it. It's on the road. And the Chargers have been inconsistent. Let's be fair about it. They have been inconsistent, but I get your point. The Cowboys seem like they're circling the drain right now.
And especially when the first part of the winning edge cashes on Saturday, the Cowboys will be eliminated from playoff contention and then will be kicked down the curb when the Los Angeles Chargers, fighting for their playoff lives, go in and win the football game. You get 2 points. You don't even have to lay anything with the Chargers. And then in the nightcap, another interesting one. One of the two quarterbacks has played like an MVP between the Patriots and Ravens, and it hasn't been Lamar Jackson for the majority of the year. Give me the Patriots catching 3 on the road.
Let's go.
At M&T Bank Stadium against the Baltimore Ravens. That's generally a tough place to play, Armin, especially at night. I have not liked what I've seen from the Ravens much at all outside of sure. Did they dismantle the Bengals last week? Yeah, but the Bengals also had Joe Burrow like talking about wanting to quit football during the week.
Right.
That did not seem like an environment that was hard to be able to go in and dominate. We roll there for a little 4-leg parlay that would pay out 12-1 at the Potawatomi.
I was going to say that's winning edges. You giving it multiple
lot
edges.
of winning edges.
You giving
lot
multiple
of winning
edges. I like 4 edges on that square right there. I'm not calling you a square. I just said you have multiple edges.
4 corners
Yeah, 4
in the
corners.
box for the
Now-
square plays of the week.
Yeah, and we'll see Baltimore next week, so that'll be pretty interesting. All right, Billy, I like that. Should we predict our game?
I
Our
was just about to say, let me hear your score prediction for Packers and Bears tomorrow night that you will be producing right here on the Packers Radio Network.
Something about this makes me think it'll be a higher scoring game than we think. I'm taking the Packers 30-27, winning this in the final possession. Let's go.
Now it was 28-21 12 days ago. Armen Sarian predicted 27-20.
I think teams are moving the ball.
You were right on it the last time these two teams matched up. Let me go with Armen Sarian's exact score from the last time. 27-20.
Okay.
Packers beat the Bears, and it's a late score by Chicago to trim into the margin.
Oh, so we're up. I like that. We're going to win this one.
I think it's
Let's
a 2-score lead for the Packers in the fourth quarter. And it's because of what they do on not third, but fourth down again. These division games come down to 4 downs. This Packers team is a little bit different without Parsons on the field. Teams might not think that they need to. Ben Johnson wants to go for it on fourth down. Edrin Cooper and Quay Walker have been 4-down menaces. Give me the Packers. Give me the Packers to win by a touchdown, cover the number, and we're celebrating on Packers OT and on a Victory Chicken Monday the way God intended to on the week of the holidays. Phenomenal start to it. Can't wait for it. That's Armen Sarian. I'm Billy Schmid. It's been No BS. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Enjoy us on Packers OT, and we'll be right back here on Monday morning at 6.
After a tough loss in Denver on many fronts, Green Bay will try